Today's episode of Darkness Radio is brought to you by Microdose. Get out of pain, get out of anxiety, and start treating yourself a little bit better. Try Microdose. Microdose is a CBD THC gummy that will get you out of pain, get you out of anxiety, and get you into feeling good again. To learn more about microdosing THC, go to microdose.com and use the code DARKNESS to get free shipping and 30% off your first order. Links can be found in the show description, but again, that's microdose.com, code DARKNESS. Welcome into the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm Tim Dennis. Got a really good, really intriguing show for you here today. We're going to talk about a case that everybody has talked about at one time or another, but we're going to bring it up one more time in a different light, and we're going to bring it up with one of our favorites, one of our friends, one of our all-time greats that we like to talk with. Alan R. Warren is a best-selling author. He's the producer and lead host of the popular NBC radio show House of Mystery and Inside Writing, both heard on the 106.5 FM Los Angeles and 102.3 FM Riverside, 1050 AM Palm Springs, 540 AM KYAH Salt Lake City. I feel like we're doing the WKRP roll-off here. 1150 AM KKNW Seattle, Tacoma, and Phoenix. Alan started writing articles in True Case Files magazine and is still a contributor for Serial Killer magazine. Since then, he has completed 24 nonfiction books covering true crime, cults, human trafficking, history, and memoirs for 3 different publishers, including R.J. Parker, Vronsky Publishing in Toronto, Canada, and Wild Blue Press in Colorado, America. His best-selling true crime books in Canada are Beyond Suspicion, The True Story of Colonel Russell Williams, which will be featured on CNN's Lies, Crimes, and Videos in Season 4 in the fall of 2022, and Murder Time 6, The True Story of the Wells Gray Park Murders right here in America. His bestsellers are The Killing Game, Serial Killer Rodney Alcala, which has been featured on several television shows such as Very Scary People with Donnie Wahlberg and Oxygen's Mark of a Killer, and Reel's Killer Trophies, and soon to be part of a 4-part documentary on the Sundance Channel called Death's Date, and Doomsday Cults. The Devil's Hostages, which was featured on Vice's Dark Side of the 90s, is also one of Alan's as well. His latest series of books is called Killer Queens, a 6-part book series covering murders that affect the gay community. Book 1, Leopold and Loeb. Book 2, Butcher of Hanover. Fritz Harman. I'm sorry, my sight gets worse as my heart gets worse as well. Book 3, Grinders Serial Killer Stephen Port. And Book 4, Bruce MacArthur, Toronto Gay Killer. Some of those books as well. Let's welcome to the show and talk a little bit about the book that we're going to cover today, Alan R. Warren. Alan, I could go on and on with your introduction, my friend, but I'm going to stop right there. We'll just continue.
Boy, I sound like I work.
It does sound like you work a little bit. The book that we're going to talk about today is True Crimes Part 1, the O.J. Simpson case. And these, we should explain to people a little bit about what this book entails, and I'm going to let you take over from here and tell us a little bit about what exactly the House of Mystery radio series interview series is about. And this is book 8 of that series, correct?
Yeah, it's book 8 of the overall series. It's book 1 of its own Voices of True Crime series. Over 10 years, we've been interviewing all the people involved in these different cases. And basically, I put together a book that covers it from all sides. O.J. Simpson's side, from his defense attorney to the prosecution side, Marcia Clark, to the victims like Ron Goldman's sister, Nicole. And also, I got the Vegas arrest from the Vegas cop and a movie made by his manager. So I put it all together and lay it all out and try to be factual with what we really know rather than just all the stuff you hear a lot on TV.
Which is appreciated because, what's interesting about going down that factual road with you in this book is that we get rid of some of that bunk that's out there. And what's interesting, too, is that it's even brought up. I believe it's the interview with, I want to say, Kim Goldman. You actually go into a little bit in one of the questions about the FX interpretation, which is a little refreshing to get her view on it. Although she said it was a very nice interpretation, it didn't even really feature the killings at all, which is an interesting point. I don't believe the FX interpretation of the case really had any... It didn't show the killings, did it?
No, actually, with things like that, with these series, what happens is they have a point of view, an idea of what they want to get to people, and that's what parts of the stories they'll tell. So they put it together in chunks. And so you miss out a lot of things in these series. And it's unfortunate because it also, a lot of it's fictional, a lot of it's lead, just suggestion. This is what probably happened, so then they put it in. But people don't really realize that. They'll watch that and think, oh, this all really happened. It all happened this way. And it's not really that accurate. Other than the arrest and the conviction, or the acquittal in this case, everything else is just kind of, it's really fictionalized. And that's in with a lot of these, especially effects.
Alan, I got to ask you, what is the biggest misconception that you've run into as you're writing this book and getting this series together on the O.J. Simpson trial? What is the biggest misconception you run into all these years later? And keep in mind, this is recent history. So it's not like you can't go back and research these things. It's very easy for us to go back and research these things. But what's the biggest misconception out there about the O.J. Simpson case and what people choose to believe that's complete fiction?
Well, either you are on the side of O.J.'s guilty or he's innocent. So that's where it leads. And so people that think, well, he's innocent, he couldn't have done it, always go to the blood sample in the EVTA that was found in some of the blood that was at the location. So that proves he didn't do it and he was framed. Then you got the people that just, no, he absolutely did it, no question. And they sort of have the same idea, with the glove and the blood and there's too much and he ran and all that stuff. I think on both cases, the problem is the people that believe either way, they're going with their instinct and their feelings. And I really wanted to bring out in the introduction part about how it was so close to the Rodney King affair, and when he was beaten, and the officers that eventually got arrested but didn't get convicted. And that left a really, really a lot of rage in the black communities in California, in LA. And so all of a sudden now you have this case. So there's a lot of people that think that they ruled him innocent on the race theory. It's completely odd because he was black and the jury was black. So I think that's the misconception on their side. And they're both wrong. If, as far as I'm concerned, they're both wrong. They both have an effect on what happened, but they're both absolutely wrong.
I think there's also the misconception, too, and I think this plays out very well in the book as well. The misconception that, well, this is O.J. He's a star. And the whole reason why O.J. was probably let off was because he was a star. Do you feel that is a misconception as well? That it was his... Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. As far as being acquitted, yeah, that is a misconception. He wasn't acquitted because he's a star. His star power gave him the ability to make it a circus, so to speak. Like he avoided getting arrested, then he went on that big car chase, 35-mile-an-hour car chase with cowling, and that was everybody on the streets. It's on every 50 million people watching it. So he turned it into like a reality show.
Mm-hmm.
And so that changed people's frame of mind. So all of a sudden they started treating it that way. So he got a lot of advantages for being OJ because of who he was and a celebrity. That is no question. But I don't think the jury themselves voted him innocent because of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't go, oh, well, I think they would have convicted him if all circumstances would have been equal on the outside. I think that it isn't why they decided to acquit him. So, yeah, that's a big one too.
It's interesting. You have different people that have different interviews here within the book, and all bring their different perspectives. The one that I find the most interesting, I guess, out of all of these, and we'll go down the line and we'll talk a little bit through about a little snippet of each interview. Keep in mind, folks, we want you to go out and get the book, so we're not going to spoil the entire book here.
We won't tell you the ending.
Right. We're not going to tell you the ending by any means. But for once, and this is what I find refreshing about this book here, Alan, is we're not going to say, well, it's in the book. We're going to say it's in the podcast. Because what's fun about this book is at the end of each chapter, if you want to know more, you refer people back to your podcast to hear the rest of the interview, which I found really refreshing. Tell me why you made this reference to send people back to the podcast.
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is the written word doesn't have sound or feeling the same as when you hear it. So when you hear Anthony Bailey talking in the interview, you hear his voice, you get a feel for what he's saying about whether it feels real or not, whether he's convinced. Like, you pick up a lot about a character by listening to them, right? Mm-hmm. And you get to know them better. With the book, it's the written word, and I put kind of the main characters of what they said in the interview. So you're getting the highlights in the book. And if you want to know all the little details, because there's a lot of small talk with different people as well, and talk about other things that won't be in the book, but that'll be on the listening podcast part of it, so you can hear the full interviews. So I thought it was just a good way of kind of covering both. So if you're really more into Anthony Bailey or somebody that was part of this case, and you want to hear the full time with them, then you go to the podcast. You'll hear it all. You'll hear their yeses and nos, and Anthony Bailey was kind of very intimidating and yet funny. So, and I put that at the beginning of that as well, about how he phoned me on my phone and scared me.
And you just mentioned the one that I think is the most interesting and most intriguing out of all of the interviews. And it's just from a personality standpoint. He really, you want to talk about a man who had 1,000 walls up before. And I think it's just the interviewer in me that when I immediately started reading the chapter, I thought, boy, oh boy, did you have a tough row to hoe right there. When you immediately get, well, you tell the story. You tell the story about how it is that you automatically know that you've got a tough job ahead of you before you even start.
Well, that one has never happened to me before either. And all of a sudden my phone rings. And we're sitting in the studio. I was with Kevin Thompson, was co-host for the first 4 years regularly until he moved on to a different place. And we're sitting there talking about stuff, what happens, and all of a sudden my phone rings. Oh, I got time. So I answer it, and it's like, and he goes, hello. And I went, hello. And he goes, this is F. Lee Bailey. I've got an interview with you. You see the phone number on the phone? I looked, I go, yeah, call it when you're ready. And then he hung up. And he was stern, mean. I remember, oh my God, this is going to be a tough one. Because you just never know. I mean, you know that. You just don't know what it's going to be like when you sit down with someone, especially if they're a celebrity and they've been doing it for years and they've got lots behind them. They're very strong-minded, very, very assertive. Mm-hmm. In what they say and their stance. There's no messing around. It's like, wow. So I was really worried about that one. But it turned out good. It actually ended up being good. And I'm glad because we picked the two cases that he found the most interesting for himself. And OJ wasn't one of them. So I think he lightened up as soon as he realized that we weren't just saying, oh, OJ, that's all we want to talk about. Because he had done so many other cases, Patty Hearst, Son of Sam. Like he had so many things that he was involved with that were, the Shepherd case, the one that we see the movie and TV series from all the time. He has such a history that I think he lightened up when he realized that we weren't just going to talk to him about OJ.
Well, and I liken it to, and I think if it wasn't consciously, I know it was subconsciously, when you, as an interviewer, you have to play to ego in order to get the good stuff. You kind of have to mine to ego in order to get the hits that you want to hear played. And so, yeah, you do kind of have to hear the kind of the deeper cuts in order to, get to Freebird, Yeah. So, yeah. And you knew just what to pluck, what strings to pluck in order to get him to sing. That one was really scary, but because when we went into it, I had no idea what I was going to say after that intro part, and I had no idea which cases I was going to go for because he's got just Google them. There are like 50 cases that were major primetime cases on TV and stuff, and big celebrities, and that's like, oh my God, now what? And so that was a real luck involved at throwing stuff out. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. No, it wasn't because like Marcia Clark was completely opposite. So when you with her, I was a little more skilled, and I was able to get a few more things out of her in a different way. Was it just a matter of it was that time where Marcia was ready to talk, where she was just, there had been enough time that had gone by, and maybe it was just, it's time to unload and just time to get it off her chest, or
no, actually, no. When the agent and I talked, and then when I talked to her ahead of time, she was like, "Listen, I do not want to talk about the O.J. Simpson case. We can talk about anything else but." So it's like, oh my God. But that's what everybody likes about you. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
I that's what everybody knows, and I thought, okay, that's why with the full interview, I talked about her fiction books and some of the other things, but then I brought it into her in the point of, listen, Marcia, you were a defense attorney and then you were a prosecutor for, way before any of the OJ stuff came up. So what was it like as a female in the justice system, working as a prosecutor or working as a defense attorney? Do you get treated differently? Was it the same? And all, I kind of threw that kind of at her. And finally, she just turned around and let loose and said, well, look what Ito did to me. And then she went off on him and about how he was misogynistic. And then so she opened the door with OJ and then went to town. So that was just, I guess I was being a little sly there by doing that. Mm-hmm. But I did it. So maybe she'll never come on the show again. I don't know. But I didn't do it I wasn't trying to be devious in a way. I just really wanted to hear the effects of the case and what went on with her, because I think that so much of this case was so visual for people, televised, and everyone watched it and everything. And if you remember back then, like Marcia Clark, okay, she did her hair, it's curly. Everybody talked about it. Somebody found pictures of her on the beach, topless. Like it was completely the first kind of reality trial that we've ever seen so much stuff about. She was hassled so much. And my point is, how could she do a good job with that much pressure on someone, and you've never experienced it before. Like, she didn't walk into this case as a celebrity. She wasn't known. She wasn't doing a TV show. She wasn't Britney Spears singing.
Right.
She was an unknown. And all of a sudden, every single day, every paper, every television show, they're all commenting about her hair, her makeup, her what she's wearing. Did you see what she wore? You know, and that's complete 24/7. They're sitting outside of her house. They're sitting outside of the court. They follow her everywhere she goes. Oh, she ate this. She spilled her drink. Like, it could you imagine that kind of intense scrutiny put on you all of a sudden in a snap of a second?
Yeah.
And for months and months. So I don't know. You see, I still think that I don't know how I could perform properly under that much scrutiny, that much pressure. And I think that was kind of what I wanted to get out of her, because I don't want to blame her. There's people that blame her. She did a bad job. It was a terrible prosecutor. Then there's people that stick up for her. I think that it is what it is. I think she's a competent prosecutor. She's got lots of experience, and it was out of her hands. The case became big upon itself, so big that all the players in there were just along for the ride. They weren't driving the trial anymore. So she did what she could to steer things, but God, it was like a roller coaster gone wild. There was no hope for her to ever really have any sense of direction in that trial. And I think I wanted to bring that feeling out in the interview. I want people to realize that she's just a human being like all of us, and this happened. And it's not that I'm against televising. I almost think that I wish they would record all these trials like they do, but then don't play them until it's done, until the trial's over. You know, that's kind of my thought, because I think that you should be allowed to see it. It's open, but look at what everyone does to these people. Not just her, everybody involved in the trial is under this enormous pressure. And I don't know about you, but if I was under that kind of pressure, I don't know if I'd be able to do my job as well.
Well, I think Marcia had a good comeback for that when she was talking to you, and she, you know, her focus, as she said, was on that jury, and that's really where her focus was. It wasn't on the general public. Although I do understand where you're coming from. I do think cameras in the courtroom are a distraction, and that they do distract away from the business of what the court is there to do. There are some higher profile cases, though, where I think it does force almost an uber focus on what needs to be done in that courtroom. And I'll give you an example. And this is what I was kind of looking forward to talking to you about today. When you talk about the George Floyd case, like here in Minneapolis, with the prosecution of the police officers involved in that case, specifically the lead police officer in that case. You want to talk about ultimate scrutiny. I mean, I'm here in Minneapolis where that case took place. And boy, do you want to talk about tension. I mean, there was tension in this town like you wouldn't believe. Had that not been televised, I think the tension in this town would have been at an all-time high, because I don't say, you can argue, is it really our business to know what's going on in that trial? Probably not. For the interest of the police officer being defended, I'm trying to tread lightly here, and I know that I'm just not going to tread lightly. It's not treading on his rights by any means to have the cameras in the courtroom, but it's exposing everyone in the courtroom, and maybe, I don't know, would you say in that case that it is changing the performance of the court in that case? I didn't feel it did if you watched that case in the courtroom or any of that footage from that case.
Well, I think it does. I'm not saying it's bad always, but I think it has to. Because you've got too many common people. Like, don't get me wrong, with that particular case, if you didn't televise it, you didn't put it out there for people to see and hear about, then there's going to be people that think, well, you're covering up. You're hiding the truth. Yep. You're not telling us, because it's a conspiratorial world. Like the States is like highest it's ever been. Yep. So right away they're going to think you're protecting the cops, and there's going to be this real negativity. So you have to show. It's all true, but I think my point is, listen, both of us have been in the sort of entertainment world. I do TV shows. I've done radio and things, and I'm very. And you have to be self-conscious a little. And we've just got a little scratch of popularity. I'm just saying that you look at cases like Jodi Arias and look at Kirk Nermy and what he went through, and the stress and the cancer and death threats. People, you can't even live at home because people are, I'm going to kill you. You're defending her. And it's like, well, he's paid for by he was the county defense attorney making $20,000 a year being given the job. He tried to get off it 3 times and they said no, but look at what he went through. Like that what I'm saying is, it's just the players have to get affected. You cannot tell me that you're working every day and you go in and there's people following you around, taking pictures of you, posting it in every paper, everywhere you go, and they're not always flattering pictures and they're saying not always very nice things. And then you go home and then you got people giving you death threats and telling you they're going to kill you, they're going to rape your kids, they're going to burn your house down. You cannot tell me that you can just go to sleep, no problem, get up the next day and go to work like it's normal. And so sometimes it works out where the person gets the appropriate justice in the Floyd case, for instance, but sometimes it doesn't. And I'm not always saying it's the cause. What I'm trying to say is, look, we have to look at this as a realistic sort of, we have to have a perspective of realism here. Okay. So, what do we do about this? Because we're not doing anything is how it is. So the next case that we're going to see, whatever comes up, it's going to be the same thing. And remember, these people are not Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, where everybody, they've been on TV and movies their whole life and they're followed around. This is day-to-day normal for them. They play to the camera like it's nothing because they do it every day. Mm-hmm. It's not Madonna running down the road. It's something that, you know what I mean? Like they're used to it. This is part of their day. But me as a defense attorney making $20,000 a year and I'm put on it or whatever I am, I'm not used to that. Marcia Clark was not used to that. She'd never had that before in her life. Every little detail of her life was put out there. Who she dated, who she slept with, where she slept with them. I mean, all I can say is if you put that kind of pressure on a guy going to a normal job, I work at, Pizza Hut and I go into work and I have people outside my house film me get into my car, drive to work, then film me at work and then post it in the paper and all over social media. Oh, look at him. We saw him eating that piece of ham that fell on the floor. You know what I mean? Yeah. Every little thing, you start becoming self-conscious. You have to learn how to deal with everyone watching you. And I don't think they're equipped to deal with it. So I just think that, we need to let people see what goes on in our courtrooms, but how do we protect the people involved?
Could it be argued, though, too, Alan, that we've had enough decades now of cameras in the courtrooms where this shouldn't be so shocking? That a camera in a courtroom is just as much a fixture as a gavel in a judge's hand? That this is everyday stuff now. It's just as much as a court stenographer. Yeah, yes and no. Because there's still thousands of people working in the legal industry that have never been filmed on TV. I think it's to the point where, where some of these cases bring out too much.
O.J. Simpson was 24/7 on every channel you could find. You know, there wasn't media that wasn't showing or talking about it all the time. And the thing is, it would be different if they just talked about the case and they were focused on the evidence and focused on what went on in the court. But what I'm saying is that's not what happens. Instead of that, they focus on Marcia Clark's hair. You know, they focus on Johnny Cochran and some of the silly things he says when he's on camera. Like he was a guy that played up to the camera. Like when you look at the two, here's a really good perspective of it. Look at how well people like F. Lee Bailey and Johnny Cochran and Shapiro. You know, look at these lawyers have been in the public eye for years. They're used to TV. They're used to press. They're used to media. They're used to being put in all sorts of rags and newspapers. So that side is all equipped and ready to go. Then you got the prosecution side that had none of that experience. And that, so what I'm saying is that it takes the balance out of the trial. It makes it hard. And it's not that there can be some people that can handle it better. But you see, remember, the other point is too, 1995, we didn't have the social media explosion that we do now. So people are more adept at being on camera and being on social media and showing their face and showing their silliness and showing what's good and that. Here's what I had for dinner and here's my dog and I've gone here and stuff. Back in 95, that never happened. People weren't that way. It was a lot more private. So I'm just saying that the balance wasn't there as a fair trial. I don't think it was fair for Marcia and Christopher Darden up against who they were just for the presence of media. But, you know, I'm not trying to say that what's right and wrong. I'm just looking at the details of the case.
Well, you bring up something interesting. You bring up one legal team on the defense side that's used to distraction and uses it very brilliantly to use it in their defense, and and then you talk about the prosecution who's not used to distraction, and it's used to divide and conquer a little bit. In that, you know, really, Christopher Darden and Marcia Clark end up on two different roads in that case. I mean, you know, they end up with two different philosophies, and Christopher Darden really ends up taking a different path than Marcia Clark, and kind of ends up, I don't want to say insubordinate in the whole deal, but he kind of undermines Marcia Clark in that case, doesn't he?
Well, he did, but then, you see, I don't think his intention was to undermine it. What happened was they turned it into a race case. This was all about race. This was about the racist Mark Furman and the nasty police planting evidence against our celebrity African-American. Terrible. He never did it. They set him up. This is all made up. So you have that going on in the presence of the case. So Christopher Darden, in his mind, Simpson was guilty. He believed Simpson was guilty, but they were baiting him. Johnny Cochran and stuff. They would tease him. They were making fun of him. They were doing things to goat him into jumping on the race card and saying, no, it's not race. Like they wanted that fight, and he went along with it, whereas Marcia Clark didn't go along with it. So that's kind of where they separated. But the reality is, again, it's because it was televised. It's because it was so marketed. And Cochran and the team marketed it as a race case. And so it put him on the defense. So that's what I mean by action and reaction. This whole thing was so massively, you know, talked about that he had to be on the defensive. Like he had to react and let pride get in the way because everyone's watching him. The whole glove thing was a reaction to what he was going to do. So it was to do with the television camera. So I'm not really, you know, this is sort of what I mean by they were doing things on the prosecution they wouldn't necessarily have done if it was a close
Welcome back to the Best in True Crime Podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm Tim Dennis. Our guest is Alan R. Warren. He is the author of True Crimes, Part 1, the O.J. Simpson Case, the House of Mysteries radio show interview series, Book 8. And Alan, I tell you, let's jump right back into it. We're in the O.J. Simpson case involving the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. What's intriguing about this book, and again, just kind of setting it back up for our listeners from the break, the book entails a lot of the interviews you've done around this case on the House of Mystery radio show. And again, what I find refreshing about this book is that at the end of each interview, you tell the readers of this book, if you'd like to know more, here's the actual location of the podcast where you can listen to the rest of the interview, which again, instead of it's in the book, it's in the podcast. Go listen to the podcast, which I find incredibly refreshing. I have to tip my hat, my friend, because I really do love that. I love the fact that it goes back to the interview, and I love the interviews on the House of Mystery radio show, which, by the way, let's tell people how they can tune into House of Mystery.
Well, if you just go to my site, alanrwarren.com, or if you go to houseofmysteryradio.com, it'll take you to the same site. It'll have all the stations that air it and their direct link, and you can stream it live, or it has the podcast link and every place that it's on there. So you can just find it all. It's quite simple, actually.
There you go. Good deal. So let's talk about who exactly killed Nicole and why. The theories are out there. We get kind of the hinky theory of, and let's talk about the whole. Let's start with F. Lee Bailey. Okay, there's a bit in the interview with F. Lee Bailey where he says there's just no way that OJ. The idea was OJ was going to go to Chicago that night. And he had a gym bag on him. And what he was going to take, was it a private plane to Chicago? Is this how I understand it?
Yeah. He was going to, I think he was speaking at a golf tournament or some sort of, it was Hertz Rent-A-Car, who he was the spokesman for at that time. They were having some golfing event, and he was going to go there and golf with the people and put on a little show and talk to people. And of course, the event was going to raise some sort of money for charity. And also, it was just a promotional gig he was going to.
Okay. So F. Lee Bailey says he has 2 bags and then a third gym bag with him. The third gym bag has always been suspected that that's where he had the murder weapon, perhaps the clothes he was wearing, and the famous Bruno Magli shoes that had the blood on them. To which there was one report that said, well, when he got to the airport, he emptied the bag and threw numerous items into a trash can at the airport, then boarded the as the kids call it, the PJ, the private jet. I always like quoting the kids. I like to sound hip that way. And then boarded as I believe it, boarded the plane, correct, after that?
Yes, yeah. And he flew into Chicago and got to the hotel room, and he was going to do the event. And then one of the detectives got a hold of him there and told him about the death. And he said that he was drinking out of a glass, and he smashed the glass, and it cut his finger. And so that's where the cut came from on his hand. And anyway, but he ended up flying back and interviewing with the police, and the rest is kind of history.
And the people in the hotel swear that that's where that cut came from. That yes, that indeed there's I don't know if there's a sworn affidavit, but somebody at the hotel says that yes, that's where he got the cut. He definitely broke a glass after hearing the news, and they can abide by the timeline that that's what happened. So that's where that cut came from. It didn't come from somebody, fighting back from him, that he was not on the scene when Nicole was killed.
Right. See, that's the key in the sense that, because he asked someone for a Band-Aid and he talked to the manager about it and that. So they knew. So he probably cut himself and it probably did happen. But, of course, the prosecution said, well, nobody actually saw the cut or nobody saw him cut himself. So we don't know that he did that. He just said he did that. And he might have done that just to tell people. So that's kind of one of the question marks they have.
Okay. So there's that particular piece that F. Lee Bailey brings up. And so he says, well, why would OJ fly to Chicago with bloody clothes? And he's assuming that he hadn't emptied the bag. And then there's another piece in there that has to do with, I believe it was your interview with Norman Pardo, correct? Where he says that Robert Kardashian had actually taken a picture of that bag, the inside of that bag, and there was no blood on the inside of that bag, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And Norm Pardo was O.J. Simpson's personal manager for 15, 16 years. So over that period, he spent a lot of time with them. So that's who Norm Pardo is.
Okay. So let's continue with a little bit about Norm Pardo. And I want you to tell as much as you're comfortable with. And I haven't said much about Norm Pardo because I don't know how much you want to tell people about Norm Pardo or how much you want to put out there. But Norm is pretty convinced that it wasn't OJ that did it, correct?
Yeah. He has a totally different opinion. And rightfully so. I think out of all the different conspiracies and different theories that have flown around and reasonings and stuff, first of all, he was the only one that was with OJ day to day and very personal with him and the family and was involved. So he has a first person sort of interaction, so he can actually speak to it. So I accepted that. And also, because he knew the players, he's able to explain a lot of the relationships between Kardashian and OJ and how they got together and kind of what their business was together, owning a company and how they separated and they weren't happy with each other. So he kind of explains a lot of what was going on inside the OJ camp. And I think it gives you a perspective of what goes on or what was going on with the family, so it kind of gives you a better idea of who these characters were. And so I think that's the important part of this. And of course, he's leading it back to the drug situation and about Nicole being on drugs. And this was part of why she was killed. And that's kind of, I guess that's the best way to say it without getting too detailed.
Sure. And that's just fine. There are some interesting little tidbits that I'll drop, but I won't say why I'm dropping them. How's that sound, Alan?
Sure.
Okay.
It's fine. Yeah.
What's interesting here, and we've always heard of the rumors, but never quite been explained why, that Norm explains in the book, which I won't tell you why he explains them. I won't tell you what he explains, but you have to get that. I'll tell you this much, Alan. I always hate it when people say it's in the book, but I'm going to tell people it's in the book. You have to get the book to find out why. I love the fact that finally Norm Pardo explains the beef between OJ and Robert Kardashian. And the fact that there's some serious beef there. Serious beef. And I also find it interesting that Norm has, this isn't like Norm is OJ's buddy and they're both buddies and he's his manager and he's just trying to get his buddy off from doing this crime. What was the figure in money that he had put together to prove OJ's innocence? It was crazy. It was like millions of dollars, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the thing is, It's so hard to get into it unless you explain some of the relationships. So,
you don't. No, you can just drop the figure and not have to explain it.
Well, no, I'll leave it.
Okay. Don't explain.
I mean, $600,000. Oh, never mind. We'll get into that later. But no, okay. I think that it's better to leave that part because then it's not going to make sense if I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
That's why would someone spend so much money?
But he's gone to. We'll put it this way: he's gone to great lengths to explain it out. And there's this really twisted, and you put two and two together and you think it would make four, but it really makes seven, but it all does make sense when he comes out. And let's just put it this way. Norm can't release, he's made a movie about this. About why OJ is innocent, but he can't release it in America.
Right.
Because he's being black.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we'll just put it that way.
Kardashians, the Kardashians are, that's what, it's his allegation that the Kardashians have put the kibosh on it. They've stopped it. And it's very much probably likely that that's what it is. I don't want to, say yes or no, but it looks like it. And someone with an extremely amount of money and power is put the stop on it. And so fair enough. He's probably correct. It looks that way. I sort of believe in that. So that being said, I think that Pardo's situation, when he explains the details of the relationships between these family members, then you start to understand why they behave different ways at different times. It all makes total sense.
Yeah.
The only thing that I had that was kind of an issue, and it always comes back to this, is the EDTA found in the blood. Mm-hmm. Because it's always what people go back to, whether they're conspiratorial, whether they believe in one person or the other. And so that's one thing I kind of have an issue with that he talks about. The other thing is about the drugs. And he's sort of basically saying that the Goldmans are not as pure or as good a family as we all like to think they are, or how they were portrayed with the media. That, in fact, it's his assertion that Ron Goldman actually sold drugs, and his relationship with Nicole was based on that. And so it's one of those things that's touchy because, still have a lot of Goldman still living and stuff. And, right. And he also talks about Ron Goldman and about how, and his situation with his current wife, who wasn't the wife or the mother of the Goldman kids, and about what he'd done. So it's kind of sleazy in a way.
Right. It's
and I kind of felt like I needed a shower after I spent a couple hours with him.
You feel like it's bordering on defamatory, but yet there's a piece of it that really does connect.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Oh, yeah. And I believe what he says is pretty accurate, and he describes these situations pretty true. And I think it's real, but I think it's a little sleazy. He's kind of capitalizing on it a little, and that's kind of what his thought was when he did it, and he puts it out there. But I don't think, so I just sort of have this, because we've got this. We have to decide whether or not we believed Ron Goldman was a drug seller, and that's how he knew Nicole, and whether or not the family is jaded somehow. And so when you read it, you kind of think, oh God, because you don't want to think that about them, right? I mean, how many times did you see the family, the Goldmans, and the crying and all the upset, and even the Brown family? How devastated were they about this whole situation? And it's rightfully so. I understand it. Mm-hmm. But did they have a dark secret? Were they really doing things that we didn't know about? That you see, and So I put it in only because I think that, look, if it's true or not doesn't matter, because the fact was that Goldman and Brown were killed in a terrible way, and that should have not happened, period. And it doesn't really matter. It's almost getting to how it is a lot in public nowadays, where people attack other people for who they are rather than what they say and what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm trying to stay away from that. So I think I put it as nicely as I could.
Yes, you did.
In the book.
Yep.
You know,
I think the other thing too, when you look at, and I want to be careful here the way I put this as well, because it was a horrific killing of two people. Whether you believe it was done by an abuser who had taken, and it was a rage killing and it had gone too far, which is more than likely the scenario, or whether it was done by other means and it was a horrific crime that was done for other reasons. The brutality that was committed upon Nicole was incredibly awful, horrific, terrible. And it was either done out of pure rage or it was done from the mind of someone incredibly sick and was meant to deliver a message. That's the only two ways you could come about it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what it kind of lays it all out there. I think what you're going to read is true. I think these situations did happen with these family members, and this is all pretty realistic. And in fact, you know, the reasoning doesn't really, it's not even as important, right? You know, of why someone did it, whether it was, you know, the way Pardo said it, or whether it's kind of the prosecution or whoever you thought. It's not something that should happen either way. And I just kind of bring it out there, and it doesn't matter so much. But even with Pardo's explanation of what happened, it's still not great for OJ. It still doesn't make him look good.
No,
so people don't think it's a chapter. It's like, oh, OJ was great and he never did it. And no, it's not really saying that. He was still involved in what went on. Mm-hmm. So, you know, people got to realize that. And I think it's good. I'm happy with the way it came out. I'm happy with his explanation. I think he's fairly honest. It's just kind of, I don't know if I could have done what Pardo did with all this. I don't think I could talk about people like this and do all this stuff and expose a lot of stuff like this. So, but we're writing true stories, so that's what we have to do. That's
true. And I think the saddest thing of it all, whether you believe Pardo's explanation or whether you believe what's been brought up in the civil trial or what's been brought up in the criminal trial, is that somebody walked away from this scot-free. Nobody's been prosecuted for it. For the death of two people.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the sad thing about it all. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no winners.
No.
There's no winners.
No. Yeah. Alan, let's talk lastly about your interview with Andy Caldwell, who was the police officer who arrested OJ when he was in Las Vegas. Tell us a little bit about what went down and why OJ was arrested in Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, Andy Caldwell was the detective on duty in Vegas, and he got the call, and he had to go. Him and his partner had to go and talk to OJ about a complaint. In essence, the generalization of the case was it was just he was at a wedding in Vegas. He took some of his buddies, went to the hotel room where a couple of let's say merchandise dealers. They dealt in memorabilia, so you know, baseball cards, hockey cards, sports all that sort of stuff, the baseball sign. They deal with memorabilia, sports stuff. And apparently OJ caught wind that this one dealer of the two had a big pile of his stuff, and that he felt like that stuff was his and it belonged to him, and that dealer shouldn't have it. So he wanted to go back and into that hotel and take it, and not pay him for it, but just steal it, so to speak. And that's kind of what went down. He went in, and it's kind of shady, the stories about who had a gun or if anybody had a gun and what had happened. But bottom line was he stole this stuff, which it wasn't just his merchandise. It was from other sports people too. So he took it all, and he got arrested for it. And Andy Caldwell talks about his experience of dealing with OJ and how unusual OJ Simpson really is to deal with in real life. And I think it gives you a really good perspective on OJ's personality and his charisma and the way he can manipulate people, or at least try to manipulate people. And he does get away with it a lot. So it kind of explains a lot about O.J. Simpson and how his mind works.
Bizarre. You know, it's interesting in the book when he's describing, the detective is describing what O.J. thinks he's going to get from this dealer. He keeps describing it as heirlooms, which makes me think that he thinks he's getting things like a Heisman Trophy or jerseys that he might have worn on the field, or more high dollar valued stuff. I don't know what he thought that this dealer had. And it seems to me that, is it Riccio is the name of the dealer, or the guy who set him up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his friend, Tony Riccio.
Yeah, Tony Riccio. To me, it seems like there's a little bit of a game maybe played with OJ a little bit, but at the same time, it's almost like, you know, at the same time, maybe it was a little, you know, maybe OJ's got it coming to him type of thing. You know, maybe we're playing a little bit with the ego, you know.
I think it's a combo. I just not, you know, the problem with this case is, you know, was it a setup in a way? Was this Riccio guy really just trying to screw OJ? Like, what was the purpose behind it? Because he was into this sports stuff too, and so he knew what the guy had. He knew a lot of what went on, and they you know, all of his friends, and including Tony, would all they all testified against him as well. So it's kind of a weird situation. It was a weird case.
Yeah, very weird. In that, you know, what is it that you think you're gonna? I mean, let's face it. OJ had a lot of stuff out there that, in the first pass, when the Goldmans filed the civil suit against him, the Browns and the Goldmans, they got essentially the things that really meant the most to him. They got the Heisman Trophy. They got the jerseys from USC and the Buffalo Bills, and the things that really meant the most to him. So I can't imagine that there was that much stuff out there that really could have meant a lot to him, unless, you know, you look at the classic psychological profile of OJ, and, you know, you could say that he was the ultimate narcissist.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But for some reason, OJ believed that those items were taken from him. So I don't even think it was about the items. It didn't matter that they weren't that important. It was just the fact that somebody had taken his items, taken his stuff, and he felt like someone was taking it and selling it and stole from him and was getting away with it. Why Riccio made him believe that, or why he made him think that was the case, whether it was a mistake, you know, there's something else going on in this particular case of why he would do that. But I understand why he did it, because he really believed that this guy stole from him. I'm not taking that. I'll go in there with my buddies and a few guns and we'll take it back. You know what I mean? Like, that attitude fits him. But why these things that were not that important, and a lot of them weren't even his. It was other people in sports.
Yeah.
So there's something amiss there. But whether or not Riccio had something against this other dealer, whether there was something else going on, and he just wanted to do something to him, and he used OJ to do it. See, that's still kind of a question.
That kind of is what it sounds like. There was a vendetta there, and he just wanted to, kind of put the scare into him, knowing that OJ was going to take a fall. There's nothing that, you can't have OJ Simpson show up with a gang of guys and not expect there to be some sort of a fall taken there. I mean, it's,
yeah. There's so much more going on here that we don't know about, the behind the scenes. We need a Norm Pardo on this.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to know what the relationship, because we really don't know why this was done, and whether it was done, like I said, to set up OJ to actually get him in prison, or whether or not that, maybe he just thought with OJ and Joe, he would get the pile of guys together and they'd go in and do this, and it would hassle this other dealer, and it was kind of it was something toward that guy that Riccio wanted. It's still a question, which I believe that's probably the truth behind it. I think there was between them, and he just used OJ to get back at this other dealer, and I don't know why. I don't know what the details were in that.
I can't imagine Riccio really honestly thought that OJ was going to show up, shake this guy down. Even if they did or didn't come in with guns one way or the other. I mean, you come in with guns, that's significantly more time than if you don't come in with guns. But either way, if you come in and shake down this guy, that the cops were going to turn a blind eye, and they were just going to go, oh, it's just OJ, he's having a laugh, whatever, and we're just going to let him go. I really can't think that he thought it was just going to all end innocently.
Yeah, no, it's a question. But it's a good detail of letting people know about what kind of person he is and how he was around the cops and how he dealt with it. It was more about giving out his personality, OJ's personality, and then you can apply it to the murder cases as well, because they're closely tied together, I think. And it also dispels some of the rumors, like the judge giving him 33 years to go for each million that he was supposed to pay the Goldmans and stuff like that. There's a few things like that. So it kind of gives you that kind of a perspective, and I think it's a good addition to the book.
It is a good addition. Not only that, but it shows you a little bit about the different sides of OJ too. He shows different sides of himself throughout that entire ordeal in Las Vegas. Not only the smooth player side of him, but he really does show the evil, angry, narcissistic side of himself when he doesn't get what he wants.
Yeah, I think it's a really good display of what kind of person he is. So you can take that and apply it to the murder case and think, well, could he have done these murders? And I think I'm not going to say one way or the other. I'm just letting people decide for themselves.
Yeah. And I think to this day too, Alan, I think this is a good way to end it. When you see, it makes me wonder when you see him show up at a Buffalo Bills game and, he's in one moment laughing and yucking it up with the crowd, and the next, he doesn't look like he's so happy. Are those people around him in danger? I mean, I kind of wonder about the people who still hold this cult of personality around him and think, and glorify him and think that he's still something special. I wonder about people who glorify a guy they think might have had this notorious past. I don't get the reason why you put him on a pedestal. Yeah.
It's the celebrity thing again. People they think they know him, and or they might really like what he's done, and in football, for instance, and whatever the case, and but they don't like to separate that. For some reason, people, if they like someone for what they've done, they don't want to believe they've ever done something bad or that they could do something bad. And we see that all sorts of places today. We see that with tons of situations. So, I think it's just that.
I'm reminded of something someone once told me about just because the dog's gotten a little old doesn't mean that he hasn't forgotten how to kill.
Well, there you go.
I mean, it's true. I mean, just because the teeth are a little less sharp doesn't mean he doesn't know how to bite.
Yeah.
I wonder, although he's just wandering the earth trying to be, it's just me, it's just OJ. I wonder how much of that is an act and how much of that is true. I know for one, he's trying to rebuild his riches. That's part of it. But the other part of it is, and trying to regain his fame. But the other part of it is, how much of that is he trying to reestablish so, he can get in somewhat a good standing so he can do whatever he wants yet again.
Yeah. It's hard to say, I don't even follow up with that stuff.
Yeah. Well, Alan, again, I want to encourage people to click on the link in the description of the show and check out your site, alanrwarren.com, and encourage people to check out House of Mystery Radio because, again, you got a good program going over there and some intriguing guests. My God, you've got intriguing guests over there. I know I check out more than time to time. I check out some of the guests you have over there. Yeah, Dean Koontz on recently.
I did. It's been the blockbusters. It's been a lot of writers. Dean Koontz and we've had some good people. It's been really interesting here. This summer we were pretty lucky to have some of the big writers come through. So I'm not complaining. I'm very happy. Teach me how to write.
I think you've got that down, my friend. 24 books. I think you're pretty well into it by now. But yeah, you're starting back up here in October with brand new episodes of House of Mystery. Anybody that you want to tip off that maybe we can look forward to?
It's all a secret.
Oh, you would do that to us being a mystery writer and all, huh?
It's all a secret. No, we got some pretty big ones coming up. October, we start recording next Monday, October 3rd. And I think that we've got some big horror writers coming in and perfect for Halloween. Mm-hmm. And, we'll just leave it at that, but expect to be scared.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Folks, check it out, House of Mystery Radio. You can do that by going to alanrwarren.com. The book is True Crimes, Part 1, the O.J. Simpson case, the House of Mystery Radio Show interview series, Book 8. We've got a link in the description of the show. You can get it on Amazon.com. You can get the Kindle version as of right now. The physical version is dropping here very soon. Probably by the time you hear this, I believe you might be able to get a hold of the physical version. But by all means, pick it up. Take a look at it. We've just teased you with what's in this book. There's so much more, including the stuff with Norman Pardo. That alone will shock you. That chapter absolutely set me on my ear when I read it, Alan. I got to tell you, I was like, whoa, I could not believe. I know I can't even talk about it on air about some of the stuff that Robert Kardashian did for OJ, some of the investments he got him involved in. I mean, I tell you folks, you've got to read this book. It is amazing. But yeah, by all means, go out and get it the minute you get a hold of the link in the description of the show. True Crimes Part 1, the O.J. Simpson case, the House of Mystery Radio Show's interview series, Book 8. Alan, I got to thank you once again, my friend, for being on with us.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's always fun.
It's always good
to talk to you.
And I can't wait for another book so we can have you back.
It won't be long. Another day.
Yeah, give it a month, and we might have something new.
Give it a month, and I've always got things going. I've got 4 or 5 going at a time.
Good. Always good to know. Good to know. Well, thank you so much, my friend, for being on. It's time now for us to bring in Beer City Bruiser, and it's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals.
It's Crayon News Story time.
What happened with this dude, Christ Bearer? I heard he cut his penis off and then jumped off a balcony.
Suspect pulls gun from butt, shoots twice at Denver police.
What is your emergency?
I need help.
And what's the problem?
I'm too high.
You're too high?
Yeah.
It's that time once again. It's the time you're all looking forward to here on True Crime Tuesday. It is time for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals. It's time to bring in a co-host. That means we bring in the BCB, the one and only, the big cuddly bear, the Beer City Bruiser. How you doing, Bruiser?
Oh, I'm doing very good there, Cruiser. A little bit tired, like we were talking off air. A little tired, but my microdose gummies are getting me through the day, and I'm here to entertain the masses.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. Good to hear.
And make fun of some idiots.
That's right. Oh, and boy, do we have some good ones. You know, we're going to start off the day with food, of course. Glorious food.
Yeah.
Although maybe not in the vein you guys are thinking of. But yeah, but that's how we do it here on this show. And then we're going to end it up with animal fugitives.
Oh, good. Again. More animals being naughty.
Yes. I do have an extra special recipe at the end of the show, though. I want you to get out your pen and paper or your notes on your phone.
Okay.
Comes from Lil Wayne.
Oh, okay. The rapper?
Yeah, the rapper. Lil Wayne's scissor chicken. We'll tell you a little bit on how to make that. That'll be coming up at the end of the show today.
Well, we're talking food. I got to tell you, on Friday, Mrs. Bruiser and I went and had some Hillbillies barbecue. And I had,
do tell.
I had a brisket sandwich. It was a jumbo brisket sandwich, and it was to die for, Tim.
Really?
Oh,
yeah. Tell me more.
They have this special barbecue slaw where their slaw has got the barbecue sauce mixed in it, and they put it on the brisket sandwich, and melts in your mouth.
I know.
It made me think about how you and I always talk about your Julie Beans, I think it is up there.
Jelly Bean and Julius.
Jelly Bean and Julius,
yep.
And their sauces, and I'm just. Mrs. Bruiser said she wants to go on a special date. I said, where are we going? She said, Hillbillies Barbecue. I said, that's special to me.
That is special. That is special indeed. Jelly Bean and Julius did roll out the root beer sauce. They had the ribs this weekend.
Yeah.
They had a rib special, and they rolled out the root beer sauce at the same time. It was. I felt. It almost felt regal. It almost felt elegant. It almost felt like like royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
I remember
amazing.
you said at the contest you were pushing for him to debut that.
Oh, yes, I was.
I'm glad he took your advice. He should just take your advice on everything.
Well, I don't know about that. He runs the restaurant and does quite well with it. I don't think I'd be
I'm
good.
saying when it comes to food, we're two guys people should listen to. We're two well-fed men.
We are two food ingenues, if you would.
Yes.
But yeah, I think Corey's got it under control over there.
As Mrs. Bruiser puts it, food motivated.
Ooh, that's a good one. Food motivated. Yeah.
Yep. If you're not feeling motivation, put food at the end and you'll get motivated.
That's right. Yeah. Boy, you weren't kidding there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm motivated now just thinking about it.
Yeah. Everyone out there's like, let's go eat.
Yeah.
Probably until you read these stories. And
Well, that brings up a good point as far as the first story goes. Have you ever been so motivated by food you punch somebody in the mouth?
Yes, actually, I have. I have.
Tell me about it. I need to know this.
Well, it wasn't food. I mean, beer's a food, right?
It's got barley and hops.
I did do a wrestling match. We did a 6-pack on a pole match. First person to climb up, grab a 6-pack, and drink all 6 beers, won.
Really?
Yep, and I won.
Well, I could see why. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was for the Pabst Blue Ribbon Christmas party in Illinois.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Huh. And I
don't remember after the match.
You got the Pabst.
I got it.
Huh.
I got it.
Huh. Who was?
And I did that. That was a time where the next day I was hanging out with a buddy of mine who was there also. And it's true, you sweat alcohol if you drink a lot the night before, because we smelled like a brewery.
Who was competing in that deal? Who did you have to punch in the mouth to get the Pabst?
A fella named Justin Dredd, who actually I helped when he came up early in the business. I helped, guide him along. He wasn't one of my students, but he was a guy that I took under my wing. And this was years ago. This was before Ring of Honor and all that. And a guy named Derek St. Holmes is the guy who put the show on. And he goes, I have the perfect show for the Beer City Bruiser. I said, what's that? He says, Pabst Blue Ribbon has a Christmas party, and I want a six-pack on a pole match, and I'd like you to come do it. I said, yep. He says, all the beer you can drink for free. I said, I'm in.
Nice.
You had me at all the beer I can drink.
That's perfect. So you have been in a fight over food.
So, yep, I have been in if you consider it, which I consider beer food, yes.
There you go.
I've been in a fight for food.
Would you ever punch out your family over Chinese takeout?
It depends on the Chinese takeout.
I'll tell you this much. I'd punch out some of my family over David Fong's. I'd do it.
There's this place out by Malonis called Kowloon, and I'd punch somebody, I'd knock somebody out for theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're on the East Coast and you're in the New Hampshire area, check it out. Andy Wong is the owner. He owns it. It's amazing.
Who's the owner? I'm sorry.
Andy Wong is his name.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I've met him a couple times. He's my birthday, actually. My birthday party was there.
Really?
Ring of Honor was in town. We went there, and he took care of all of us. And oh yeah,
Really?
I would fight a family member for that.
Huh. That sounds good. There's it just sounds funny to say. There's a place in the southern suburbs here of Minneapolis called House of Wang. I would love to just knock somebody out over there in the House of Wang, or
Is it? Are you sure it's a Chinese place?
It is. Yeah, it's not a massage parlor. It's not a massage parlor. Although if the specialty were to take care of the Wang in the House of Wang, that'd be something special. I tell you. Happy ending in the House of Wang. That's a dish.
Yeah, but if it's a Chinese restaurant, you don't want that. well, maybe.
You might.
Depends how good the fried rice is.
What if the happy ending was fried ice cream with a lot of whipped cream on top?
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Then
yeah,
you want the happy ending in the House of Wang.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Just saying. Just saying. But according to cops here in this story, family brawled over Chinese takeout. The victim was choked pushed after eating his father's dinner order. Never want to take Pappy's beef and broccoli.
Well, what's the saying? Daddy eats first. Isn't that what it is?
I think that's what it is, yeah. Daddy eats first. Yeah. Well, evidently not in this family. It may have been a beef with broccoli. Get it?
Oh, look at that.
With broccoli. A domestic dispute over takeout Chinese food ended with criminal charges being filed against, surprise, surprise, a Florida man and his daughter. Both of whom are accused with battering a third family member. Wait a minute. There's a man.
Oh, they ganged up on somebody.
There's a man and his daughter, and there's a third member. Investigators say that a melee broke out Friday evening at a residence in Wildwood, a Central Florida city adjacent to the village's retirement community. The home is occupied by 51-year-old Bruce Schell, his wife, and daughter Atlantis.
Oh, there you go. She's going to have a great career.
He named his daughter Atlantis.
Yep. Coming to a pole near you, Atlantis.
That's right. By the way, dances 4 times in the evening. You can catch her on the big stage.
There's my wife is Mrs. Bruiser's awesome. When we meet a child and they have a weird name, she'll look at me and go, well, that child's going to have a life on the pole. Now coming to the stage, Cinnamon.
Cinnamon. I ought to take that voice to the strip club. I've never thought it. I think I might. Did I ever tell you I was offered a job at a strip club up here in Minneapolis?
No, but I'd come see you.
The man.
Oh, not stripping.
No, not stripping. No, DJing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I should tell this story on the air or not. The manager, who I believe is still at this particular establishment, so I'm not going to say the name of it.
Okay.
It's a former WWE jobber.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Goes by the nickname of Jammer.
Ah, okay. I think I know who you're talking about.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. And he got his nickname in a very colorful way. Mm-hmm. It's the way he auditioned the girls. Anyways, so Bruce Shell, 51, his wife, daughter Atlantis, and his son, who cops identified as at the battery victim. I think it was as the battery victim. I think he tried to eat before Dad ate.
Yes, he did.
Or Dad ate.
And Atlantis doesn't have daddy issues, so she fought with Daddy.
I think so. As detailed in a Wildwood Police Department arrest report, the Shell family had ordered Chinese food, but the takeout containers were not labeled. Oh, that's your first mistake.
Yeah.
Which upset Shell since he did not know which container of food was his. Shell's son, police reported, said that he argued with his father and sister over the Chinese food due to the fact that the victim had eaten his father's food unknowingly. The dispute turned violent, the victim said, when his sister began punching him in the face. That's a good girl. That's Daddy's girl right there.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
She doesn't have daddy issues.
She's probably got a good right hook. Daddy probably
She'll fight
caught
for
her.
Daddy.
Yeah. Shell then allegedly joined the fracas, putting his son in a chokehold. Because that's...
How do you not know what sweet and sour and General Tso's don't look alike?
Shell's wife told cops she was in her bedroom when she heard crashing and yelling in the kitchen area. When she entered the kitchen, the woman recalled she saw the 25-year-old Atlantis, fresh off her shift at the go-go room, pummeling the victim who was being choked by Shell. The battering, the woman added, not the battering on the chicken, by the way, but the battering, the woman added, ended only after she called 911 for help. The victim had visible red marks on the front side of his neck and fresh bruising or redness on his left eye, noted police, who added that neither defendant appeared to have any marks or bruises from this incident. So the kid took a fresh ass whooping over some mushu pork.
He had a full belly while he was taking it.
That's right. He was enjoying that Chinese food, boy. Both Shell and Atlantis were arrested for misdemeanor battery.
The worst part about it is the kid got his ass kicked. He's just going to be hungry an hour later.
That's right. And sore. Still sore.
Yeah.
Shell was also charged with domestic battery by strangulation, which is a felony, by the way, in Florida. Each defendant bonded out of the Sumter County Jail early on Sunday morning, probably because it was Friday night. And, the judge also had plans at the go-go room. By the way, I think Atlantis is probably better known for her booty shake than for her facial recognition.
Oh.
Yeah, she's one of those ones that you line up for the dollar dance.
Yeah.
Probably
she's not drinking champagne in the champagne room.
There is no Atlantis in the champagne room.
No.
Atlantis was an undersea kingdom, if I remember right.
Yes.
Probably because it would be easier to drown than to actually look her in the face. Just saying. Oh, I know. People are saying, "Oh, Tim, that's so cruel. You're so cruel. Just be nice to that poor girl." I know.
Well, in those mugshots too, they both look extremely hungry.
They do, don't they? They don't look like they're happy at all, and you can tell that
they're hangry.
Atlantis kind of gets her looks from her dad.
Oh yeah.
She didn't take after her mom.
You put a beard on her, and she's spitting image of Daddy.
She's Bruce. Yeah, it's Brucette. Yeah, that's for sure. Boy, we go from one punch to another. Have you heard of the one punch assault?
Oh yeah, in New York and all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
The knockout game? Oh, yeah.
The knockout
they
game?
covered it on Law & Order SVU. They covered an episode of that.
I know. They're pretty timely on that show, aren't they?
They are. It's a great show.
Do you want to hear something not only strange but alarming?
Yes, I do.
I was watching a TV show over the weekend that was stating that most New York City cops get more of their training from watching SVU than they do actually from their own manuals and training officers.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Dick Wolf has his pulse on the New York Police Department, doesn't he?
I guess
his
so.
Finger on the pulse,
Yeah.
huh?
They were talking about the tight relationship that Dick Wolf does have with the New York City Police Department.
I've heard that. I also heard the guy that does Blue Bloods, that created Blue Bloods, has a really good relationship with them, too.
Yeah. And they also said that I find this funny and alarming that they said that they were playing clips of different talking heads on news shows saying, well, I know I learned this one off of Law and Order. I saw this one on Law and Order. Yeah. And then they read the statistic that 62% of New York City police officers had claimed that they had learned different procedures off of directly watching Law and Order.
Really?
As opposed to learning something from their training manuals.
Okay.
Which is astounding.
I can tell you a fact that anytime you stay in a hotel room and you turn on the TV, Law and Order is on at least one channel. No matter what city you're in, no matter what country you're in, you get into a hotel room, you turn on the TV and you search, you will find a Law and Order episode.
That's true because it's an NBC Universal product, which has affiliations with almost one network in every country of the world.
Yep. That's my go-to show when I get into a hotel room in a new city.
There you go.
Now I know 60% of what's going on. Like, I should become a lawyer.
Well, I don't know that you're winning any cases anywhere, but good luck to you on that. So a surfing legend has died in a one-punch assault.
Oh, no, that's not good.
No. Chris Davidson was one of the most stylish surfers we'd ever produced in this country, according to one quote. Australia's surfing community is mourning former pro surfer Chris Davidson, who died after an alleged assault outside a pub in New South Wales on Saturday night. Police say the 45-year-old was found unconscious outside the Southwest Rocks Country Club around 5 hours north of Sydney after emergency services received a report that a man had fallen to the ground and hit his head on the sidewalk after being punched in the face.
Ooh.
Yeah. Davidson died shortly after he was taken to a hospital. 42-year-old Grant Alec Coleman was arrested and charged with assault causing death and intentionally choking a person. Coleman, the younger brother of the coach of New South Wales, I believe it's Waratahs rugby team. I'm not a huge fan of him, but I swear I'll read up on him one day.
Yeah.
That's for our fans in Australia. Has been denied bail. Davidson, nicknamed Davo, shot to, or could be Davo. I think it's probably Davo being his Davidson.
Yeah, I think it's Davo.
Shot to fame in 1996 when the then 19-year-old beat world champion, the then 19-year-old beat world champion Kelly Slater in 2 consecutive heats at the Rip Curl Pro after being granted a wildcard entry. Surfing NSW Executive Director Mark Winden tells the Australian Broadcasting Corporation that Davidson was a larger-than-life character, and for his life to finish that way is really sad. He was one of the most stylish surfers we'd ever produced in this country. He was an absolute prodigious talent and as flamboyant as he was in the water, Winden says, adding that he was right up there at the top of the professional world for quite a few years and on his day could beat anyone. Well, he couldn't beat the one punch, we'll tell you that much.
No, he couldn't.
No.
And now that guy's going to prison in Australia, which I heard does not have good prisons.
No. They do not. In 2014, Australia toughened sentencing guidelines after a spate of one-punch deaths, and Coleman is likely to face, are you ready for this, a minimum sentence of 8 years in prison if found guilty.
Oh, geez.
One punch gets you 8 years.
You do not want to be in Australia and do the one-punch challenge.
Nope. 8 years minimum.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they do not have good prisons. Not at all.
Not good at all.
Well, if you think about it, Australia started as a prison colony.
Yeah, don't remind the English of that. They're not big fans of hearing that. And they're not big fans of hearing that in Australia either, if you remind them of that. No. They're quite offended when you tell them that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I know we have some Australian fans.
We have quite a few. Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Don't offend.
I want to go to the land down under. I'm very excited to go there sometime.
Yeah. Just
intrigues me.
Keep your words sweet and light because you're going to eat them.
when I was in 8th grade, I did a report on Australia and the Aborigine. Mm-hmm. And some of the most famous serial killers are down in Australia.
Oh, don't see you did it again. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. Okay. Crocodile Dundee is one of my favorites.
Oh, what are you doing? That's number 3. They hate Paul Hogan.
Slater,
all you got to do now is say shrimp on the bobby, mate, and you'll really piss them off.
How about this?
Okay.
I was known for in college pounding a big can of Foster's because those always come in those big cans.
Because it's Australian for beer. Go ahead, just keep pounding the stereotypes there, Bruiser. Just keep doing it.
I'm going to Australia someday, and I know I'm going to get one punch now. Right?
You're going to get the one punch challenge. You better be ready for it.
I'm ready.
Okay, just saying.
Let's walk around with a clenched jaw.
You better just walk around like Popeye with your chin out and pipe in your mouth and go.
I do love Australia. I think it's great. I'm not going to.
Evidently.
Anything I say, you're just going to turn around on me.
No.
Stop talking about it.
No. No, by all means. By the way, if you're in Australia and you have an Apple app, you can contact Bruiser by going to the Contact Bruiser section and picking any one of his social media outlets to say hi to him at. Let him know.
If you reach out, we had the one serial killer story where the guy knew the serial killer. He was from Australia.
You're not gaining points here, buddy.
I'm not. I'm just telling you, a fan from Australia. When we wanted stories of their
yes,
remember this? Yeah. Yes, that's not a bad. Don't turn this around.
And you're like, yeah, and then he knew a serial killer, and then there was one that lived down the block from that serial killer, and then of course they all got together for little serial killer parties, and they had a serial killer birthday party for everybody on the block because everybody was one. But other than that,
The day the cruiser turned on the Bruiser.
No, I'm kidding.
Look at this.
No, I'm joking. Hey, speaking of serial killers, you want to hear the next story?
Yes, I do.
We go to Australia. Kidding. Kidding. We're going to Michigan.
Which is the Australia of the United States.
It is. No, it's not.
No, it's not. No,
We can't give that to Michigan.
No.
Although it is kind of weird. No, we go to Michigan. By the way, if you ever do have the last name Bacon, don't go live near cannibals. Because they might try to test you and taste you. I'm just saying.
They might be like, bacon, you say.
Bacon. Or the last name Sugar. Or have somebody call you Sugar. Or anything that has to do with food.
I was always told by my father, you need to worry when a cannibal says you smell nice.
Yeah, you do. Your dad's right. I don't know if that's from personal experience and he got away.
He said there's two people you got to worry about when they tell you smell nice. I said, what's that? He says, a little person and a cannibal.
Jesus Christ, son, I had a mouthful of liquid there. A little person and a cannibal?
Yep. Then you need to start to worry.
Well, that might just mean you're freshly showered. I got to fire up one of these here. There we go.
I knew somebody growing up with their last name Bacon.
Well, they were probably in trouble with the cannibal community.
They probably were.
Yeah.
The small town I grew up in.
Intern Yoko always says, if I may quote her real quick.
Yeah.
She says, going to the state fair is a chore. May I let you know why that is?
Yeah, why is it a chore going to the state fair?
She says, because all it is my face in people's asses all day. See, because she's short.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just my face and people's asses all day long. And some people don't wash.
She's got to worry what kind of breeze comes her way too, huh?
Exactly. See, that's the thing. The fair is not enjoyable for short people. For tall people, oh, can you smell the corn on the cob? Oh, can you smell the corn dogs? Oh, can you smell this? For intern Yoko, it's smell that ass. Yeah.
See, I married a tall one, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
She's got other things to be grumpy about rather than just smelling asses.
Well, she hates it if people bump into her because I always bump into her boobs.
Well, there's that. Yeah. See, it's just different irritations.
It is.
Different irritations.
I'm going to have
Anywho.
to tell Papa Bruiser he inspired a whole string of puns by us.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Stupid knowledge from when I was 10 years old.
You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed
Yeah.
what sparks conversation on this show.
Oh, he's so proud of those jokes. He still tells them to this day.
Well, he's got something there. He's got material. Yeah.
Yeah, like he will say them to my kids, his grandkids, and he'll be so proud as he says them. And my kids will look at me. I'll go, I've been listening to this for 40 years. Like, he's your problem now.
Yet you never knew it would come in handy, did you?
No, I didn't.
See?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. Dropping some Papa Bruiser knowledge.
There you go.
And some intern Yoko knowledge.
There you go. We go to Michigan, where a cannibal pleads guilty to killing a victim named
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Like the actor?
Yes.
He killed the actor? Okay, so
he didn't kill the actor, but he killed a guy named Kevin Bacon.
Those parents are mean. Like, there's already your last name's Bacon. You just stay away from Kevin.
Hanging him upside down and eating body parts.
Okay, that's the way you do it.
Well,
Ed Gein taught us that.
So if you take Kevin Bacon, you hang him upside down. Do you take the ass meat first? A little bacon off the bacon?
Well, pork butt is good.
Yeah, you get one of those too.
So how many degrees of Kevin Bacon is this guy from?
You know, I wonder.
If he ate Kevin Bacon.
How many degrees from Kevin Bacon is Kevin Bacon?
Yeah. That we need to know this. Kevin, Kevin's dead.
Well, yeah, it's not like he's going to pop and go, well, you know, Bruiser.
He's going to be assless.
Assless Kevin Bacon gives us an answer. We go to Shiawassee, I believe it's Shiawassee County, Michigan. A 50-year-old cannibal pleaded guilty to killing a 25-year-old missing man and eating parts of his body. 35th Circuit Court records show Mark Lutunsky entered the plea on Thursday, September 22nd for charges of open murder and disinterment and mutilation of a dead body. Lutunsky's attorney told the Lansing State Journal in a statement that it was a difficult decision to plead guilty. Oh, really?
Why was it a difficult decision?
Because he was
the man.
Because he was delicious.
Or was it opposite? He didn't want to go back for seconds, so he regrets eating them, so he doesn't want to plead guilty.
He was delicious. The statement added, the law requires that attorneys must follow the objectives of clients found to be legally competent as it relates to decisions such as pleading guilty, even if the attorneys believe that it is not in the best interest of the client. We will continue to vigorously advocate that too, for Mr. Lutunsky at the degree hearing and sentencing. MLive.com reports Lutunsky's attorney likely wanted to use the insanity defense in court because he was crazy for bacon. According to WJBK-TV, Lutunsky's trial was scheduled to begin October 18th. The victim, Kevin Bacon, was footloose at the time, mainly because the one kept falling off. I don't know. Was reported missing Christmas Day of 2019 after he did not show up for breakfast at his parents' home. Funny, Bacon didn't show up for breakfast. I'm not going to hit the button for that one.
Mama Bacon's like, well, who's bringing the bacon?
Oh, no. Come on. Several of his close friends and family searched around his hometown of Swartz Creek for him. WJBK reports Bacon's roommate told investigators he had met a man on the dating app Grindr. Oh, so he went somewhere else. Don't you dare go into that. I knew where you were going.
Yep. A cannibal is using Grindr to pick up bacon.
Which is more like pork sausage at that point.
Yep.
Yeah. According to MLive.com, police went to Latunski's home in Shiawassee County, and discovered the 25-year-old dead on December 28th, 2019. He was reportedly hanging upside down from the ceiling and had been cut all over his body.
Well, yeah, you got to get the good pieces.
Jesus. MLive.com reports Bacon had been stabbed in the back, his throat was slashed, and some of his body parts were eaten. Latunski underwent several competency hearings while he was in custody and spent time in a mental health facility. In January of 2020, WJBK reports Latunski's attorney requested a competency hearing, saying in court he believes he's named someone else. He believes he's from a royal family out of Wales, the Thomas clan, and just the nature of the crime itself, you've got to send him for this evaluation.
And he's got a severe case of indigestion.
Oh, come on.
So just because he's part of a royal, he thinks he's a royal family?
He thinks he's royalty. Yeah.
That doesn't make him insane.
That makes him a blue blood?
Technically, you can buy land in, like, what is it, Switzerland or something like that, and be a lord yourself and become royalty. You ever see that ad at like 3 o'clock in the morning on TV?
No.
Yeah. You have an ad where you can buy...
Maybe I need to start texting you at 3 in the morning to learn this crap.
When I'm on the road, I don't sleep. You know this.
MLive.com reports he was declared fit to stand trial in October of 2020, but in March of 2022, Latunski's attorney sought another eval because of his mental state at the time. In May of 2022...
Andy went on a hunger strike.
Oh, no. In May of 2022, a judge deemed him competent. For what, I don't know, but they deemed him competent. Maybe to start out as a sous chef somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Gordon Ramsay's just yelling at him. It's raw! The calf muscle's raw!
Do you call this cooked?
I like how they call him a cannibal right away. Like, so you just eat somebody and you're a cannibal right away and you don't build up to it?
You don't build up to it. There's no
like it's not so many people you eat, you become a cannibal?
I guess.
You eat one person, you're a cannibal?
Well, there's a requirement to become a cannibal? You must be this tall to ride the ride? You must eat so many to become a cannibal?
I don't know. I've never had... That's why I'm always drawn to, like, serial killers and people like this, because I don't think like that. I don't look at someone and go, wow, they look delicious. You know, like, I wonder what that toe tastes like. You know what I mean? Like, I remember clearly, distinctly in 91 when Dahmer was arrested and they're talking about all that, sitting there going, this fascinates me. And it's not because of where do you have to go in your head to do that? So like this guy's on Grindr, which is funny in itself because he's a cannibal. And instead of going, oh, this guy's hot, oh, this guy's sexy, he's going, too fatty, too lean, too cold.
Wonder if my cholesterol's going to go up.
Doctor says I gotta eat this meat. No, not this one. Oh, here we go. Perfect. He's bacon.
I may need more Lipitor. I don't know. These are all good questions, Bruiser. Questions I can't answer. You might have to actually we might have to get the guy on the show. Who knows?
No, because he thinks he's part of a royal family, so he's just going to tell us how back in the day they used to hunt people like that.
Even better, we'll put him on Darkness Radio. It'll be a conspiracy theory.
All right, let's do it. Book it.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
We look tasty. He'll come on.
to him, I might be a big fatty piece of veal. He'll think I've been trapped in a cage for 40 years.
He'll be like, look at you, tasty old man.
He'll be like, look at you, man. Look at you. Oh, God.
You look tasty.
Aren't you the fatted calf? Daddy-like.
You a grinder?
I can make gravy out of you for years. They don't make a gravy boat that big, sister.
You'll make a great bolognese sauce.
I can't imagine. That's maybe, a pound of meat on you? Tops. Do me a favor, run around the house like 3 times to build some up.
He'd probably chop us both up, throw us in a big pot, make a stew out of us.
Probably, yeah.
A bruiser and cruiser stew.
I'm telling you, I'm probably 1 pound of filet mignon under all this fat.
Hey, you're the seasoning.
I'm the seasoning,
and I'm the meat of it, the pasta, the meat of the stew.
I got to think, after all that rolling around on a mat, you're maybe a little tough.
I'm tender.
You think you're tender? I think I'm tender. I think,
yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
He'd definitely have to massage me.
Yeah, it would massage you. You'd have to hit you with a mallet.
Tenderize me.
Yeah. Me.
So you're more of the.
I'm the caged veal over here, buddy.
I was gonna say you're the high end meal, like you go to a 5-star Michelin restaurant.
I'm the Kobe. I'm the Kobe beef over here.
I'm the truck stop fried pork tenderloin sandwich.
Exactly. There you go. Now you're talking. Now you got it.
All right.
Now you're down. Now you got it down to a science.
You just made all cannibals hungry for you, and you saved me. But then again, I'm getting punched in Australia. So
yeah, exactly. You're getting knocked out by Australians in the 1-punch challenge, and I'm all Australians are after you, and all the cannibals are writing me sexy food notes, I guess now.
I got a recipe for you, Tim.
I'm gonna smother you in your own gravy. Anywho, let's move on.
Let's move.
We move on to Oklahoma, where a woman admits to strangling her former roommate to death over an argument about food stamps. And why not?
Yeah.
We go to...
Screw getting a job. Just strangle each other for food stamps.
I think that sounds like a game show. We go to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Doesn't that sound like a brand new state of Oklahoma game show?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. The survival of the fittest is what they call it. A 30-year-old one, I don't know what that means. A 30-year-old woman. I
competed in the survival of the fittest tournament in Oklahoma City.
Have you?
Yeah, Ring of Honor.
That was it was
called the survival of the fittest.
So instead of a 6-pack of Pabst, it was just food stamps hanging off a chain. What?
No, it was a tournament of so many guys. They called it survival of the fittest.
Oh, it was the food stamps hanging off a chain. It was you, the Briscoes, Delirious, and somebody else fighting over food stamps. Is what it was.
Sure.
Okay. Kind of figured. 30-year-old woman. Don't give Ring of Honor any ideas. Sorry, Tony Khan, that one's taken. A 30-year-old woman reportedly admitted to strangling her former roommate and trying to set her body on fire following an argument about missing food stamps. According to a news release from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Oklahoma, Jessica McBride and her boyfriend lived with the victim, Tracy Russell, in exchange for help with the groceries. However, the victim reportedly asked McBride and her boyfriend to leave the home. Well, that'll start a fight real quick.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. McBride allegedly went back to the home on March 17th of 2019 and strangled Russell to death. Yikes.
She went all the way.
Yeah, she did. McBride told authorities she and Russell got into an argument because she believed the victim stole her food stamps, the attorney's office said. The theft allegations have not been substantiated. McBride reportedly placed a blanket over Russell's deceased body before attempting to set the remains and home on fire, though her efforts failed. According to the attorney's office, McBride and another person planned to make a second attempt at setting the body and home on fire. A second attempt.
Well, they thought it was a good joke. The second person thought it was a joke. Every time she lit the match, they blew it out.
My
lit
God.
the match, blew it out. Then all of a sudden they're out of matches. So now you got to go find plan B.
It's very Wile E. Coyote of you.
And then they're trying to Zippo, but they're out of Zippo fluid. Yeah.
So the second, oh my God. Another person planned to make a second attempt at setting the body and home on fire, but the person reported the crime to authorities on March 20th, 2019. That night, an undercover investigator and the individual who reported McBride drove with the suspect to Russell's home. The attorney's office then said McBride reportedly brought gas camp fuel and lighter fluid. That'll get it done.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Just proves you can't trust anybody when you just want to light up a body in a house.
That's true. Tulsa Police Department officers were on scene and took McBride into custody, according to the attorney's office. McBride was arrested and booked into Tulsa County Jail for first-degree murder and first-degree arson. On Friday, September 23rd, McBride reportedly pleaded guilty to the crimes. In a statement, U.S. Attorney Clint Johnson said Jessica McBride stayed in the home of the victim, and in return, she took her life because of missing food stamps, which indeed is sad. We may be joking a little bit, but that is a sad story indeed.
Yeah. It's not worth killing somebody over food stamps.
No.
There had to be some more into play in that. Like, drugs had to somehow come into play, I'm guessing. Or mental health.
Yes. Either one. We move on. We go to Naugatuck, Connecticut. Planet Fitness is where you would go, or you would think you would find some fitness. And evidently the manager at that Planet Fitness was filming unclothed men in a tanning booth to see if he could find that fitness.
That's one of my fears.
Is it?
Yeah, I work out at Planet Fitness. And, like, that's legitimately one of my fears when I tan.
Is that they're going to put a little camera on you?
Yeah, that someone's recording it.
See if they can film a little under the tanning booth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, congratulations, Bruiser. I got
like, this is not going to be a fun story for me.
Congratulations, Bruiser. I got a little video of you right here in North Carolina under the tanning booth. No, it's we go to Connecticut, where a 23-year-old Planet Fitness manager was arrested after allegedly filming a naked man in a tanning booth.
I've worked out there. Not at that one, but I worked out in Connecticut.
In Connecticut at the Planet Fitness?
At a Planet Fitness. Yeah. I didn't tan, though. I didn't tan, so I'm okay.
Good for you. Because otherwise you would have got a little filmed. Evidently, Little Bruiser would have made an appearance on film. According to a news release from the Naugatuck Police Department on June 30th, the department received a complaint alleging that a victim was filmed at the Planet Fitness located at 1188 New Haven Road. The unclothed victim reportedly told authorities that when he left the tanning booth, he noticed a male holding a cell phone from the ceiling recording him. Also, he was hanging from the... So, yeah, the cell phone was from the ceiling, and then he was... Ta-da, and
that's even scary.
Yeah.
I'm expecting like a little lipstick camera stuck somewhere in the bed.
Oh,
not an actual human being in the ceiling.
Surprise! Hey, if you could you just kind of give me a little flash shot?
I need you to move to the right.
Yeah.
Move it right. There you go.
Could you touch it for me? The suspect was later identified as Jordan Hill, police said. You know any Jordan Hill?
I don't know Jordan Hill.
Okay. All right. On September 20th at around 9:30 a.m., Hill surrendered to Naugatuck Police headquarters following an active arrest warrant against him. So they didn't even go get the guy. They're just like...
They let it go.
If you could just come by with your camera and show us what you got.
So this guy, he had to have complained to somebody at the Planet Fitness. And they let the guy finish his shift.
Yeah, and finish whatever else.
Else he was doing.
Yeah.
And then the police were called.
Yeah. They're like, Jordan, is this Jordan, by the way? Jordan? Yeah, Jordan. If you'd be so kind, before the end of business today, could you come by with the phone in question with the 10 and wieners? We'd appreciate that.
Were you working from 9 to 5 today? You were. Okay. Can you bring us the phone you had?
Yeah.
We want to see the tan wieners you got.
Yeah, if you would. No rush, but just before the end of business.
Yeah, we're not, make your money,
Yeah.
work your shift.
Yeah.
Times are rough. We're in inflation. We get it.
Yeah. It's
Help your fellow Planet Fitness members.
Yeah.
But then come in after.
And we know you're busy. We all have busy lives, especially the people with the tan wieners. But, if you could, just come in whenever you can, and we like to take a look at that video with you.
We need to use that video for evidence.
Yeah.
That's all.
If you would. No biggie.
Yeah. When you got the time.
So when
you get out of the ceiling.
Yeah, when you're done playing around on the ceiling tiles over there, we'd like you to come by. So when old Jordan was finished over there playing around on the ceiling tiles, old Jordan Hill there, he showed up at police headquarters as he was supposed to, per the phone call.
Yes.
Yeah. He was reportedly arrested and charged with criminal attempt at voyeurism, which was a new word for Jordan. Voyeurism. Police said Hill was released on $20,000 bond and is scheduled to appear in court on October 19th. So really, he didn't even get slammer time. It was just...
I cannot wait to hear his excuse.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no, I was up there and I was using my phone as a flashlight because I was trying to fix the cables.
Yeah, we had an internet problem. I was just stringing Cat 5 up there, and then I thought I heard the pipes clanking, so I was checking the pipes. And
I moved the tile to ask the guy tanning, hey, how's your Wi-Fi? Is it good now?
Yeah.
You're good?
You getting Wi-Fi there in the tanning bed?
Yeah.
And the guy said, I'm not even checking my Wi-Fi. And I said, that's just me checking my Wi-Fi to see if the signal's going out.
My antenna's up, isn't yours?
In a statement obtained by WFSB TV, Planet Fitness said, you ready for the official corporate speak?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Got to get corporate.
At, pardon me.
The safety of their members.
Is everybody sitting down? Has everybody got a drink? Everybody enjoy the complimentary bagels we have here today at Planet Fitness? Well, that's good because, most bagels will fit over your 10 wieners. Don't know if you know that or not. Okay, great. All right. If I can have your attention, please. Here's the official statement from Planet Fitness. At this time, at Planet Fitness, the safety and privacy of our members, get it, members? A little joke for you. And guests is our top priority, and it is. It is our top priority. And we can confirm the franchise owner is currently working closely with the local police in their investigation of this incident.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Planet Fitness.
Yes, you're very welcome. By the way, special today only at Planet Fitness. We have a special on shake weights. Shake weights, ladies and gentlemen. So if you would just, pick one up on your way out.
And 30% off all tanning lotions.
Yes, tanning lotions and shake weights. So pick one up on your way out if you would. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So there you go.
So corporate.
You too could be filmed at Planet Fitness.
I'm going to ask my Planet Fitness if
they do any filming.
Plan on filming me.
If they plan on filming. By the way, would you get my good side? It's the underside. Just saying. Yeah. If you're gonna
give me from this angle, I look bigger.
We'll see if they actually do that for you.
Yeah. That legitimately is one of my fears.
It is?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm very OCD at checking the lock on the door.
Yeah.
Most people have a fantasy of a lovely lady walking in on them and all that. Not me. Nope.
You're like looking at Spider-Man up in the ceiling filming you.
I don't know how I would reach up and pull that guy down. I would have a naked fight with that man.
Come here, you perv.
I would pay money to be there.
It would be a lotiony, sweaty, naked fight between me and that guy.
Meanwhile, he's like, beat me more.
Just meat slapping everywhere.
Meat slapping everywhere. You're going to die today. Oh, please.
I can die happy.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. I'm not going to lie. I would pay for that video. I would get that video up to like 5 million views on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You'd only need 1 pixel to censor me, so you'd be all right.
Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, be more proud of yourself.
All right, 2 pixels.
Okay, 2 pixels. All right, we move on. We're going to remember. Was it a week or two ago? We were talking about the girl who was trying to get getting arrested off her bucket list.
Oh yeah.
So she decided to go on
felony and run away from police.
Yes, run away from police. Yeah. She decided to chalk one up on her bucket list.
Yeah.
We found another one.
Oh, another bucket list, huh?
Yeah. A motorcyclist is jailed for trying to impress his first date with a high-speed police chase. What is it with the kids these days?
I don't know. I blame cops.
Is that what
you watch the show Cops?
Yeah.
There's always high-speed chases.
Yeah.
That's what these kids grew up watching.
They just aim to please. They're like, oh, you want a high-speed chase? Sure, we'll chase you.
Well, there's other ways to impress girls, too.
Like what?
Well, I haven't figured it out yet, but I will let you know. Hey, at least he wasn't sending dick pics. At least he took our advice and didn't send dick pics.
Well, you know why? It's because the guy from Planet Fitness isn't around to make it look good. That's why. I mean, if he were around taking the pics, it'd look ginormous.
He was just trying to impress all the ladies.
That's right.
It looks like Godzilla.
How does this come up and go like, hey, baby, I know how to get you riled up. Jump on the back of my motorcycle and watch me flip this cop off and run away.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably that. The motorcyclist who led cops on a high-speed chase because he was trying to show off for a female passenger with whom he was on a first date with has pleaded guilty to a felony charge and will serve 2 months in jail. This according to Florida court records. 23-year-old Tampa resident Taylor Beverly copped Thursday to a fleeing or eluding charge in connection with the chase last year. In addition to time behind bars, a judge suspended Beverly's driver's license for a year and ordered him to pay about $700 in fines and court costs. After Beverly blew a red light, not literally, in front of a squad car, which would have got him a round of applause probably, police began chasing his 2017 Suzuki which weaved in and out of traffic while running additional lights and traveling at well over 100 miles an hour, according to an arrest affidavit. While Beverly was fleeing, his passenger later told police she was screaming at him to stop, but he refused. Referring to Beverly and the woman, a cop noted that this was their first date.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he didn't hear her screaming to stop. He was like, oh, yeah, this is doing it for you, huh, baby?
Yeah, you like that, huh, girl? Yeah.
Doing it for you, huh? All right,
Yeah.
I'll go fast. You want me to go faster? Faster? Okay.
Yeah, let me get this up to 110 unless the Suzuki engine blows up. Upon being apprehended at an intersection, Beverly confessed and stated he was just trying to show off for his date, who was now scared beyond all comprehension.
And now there's a restraining order against him.
Yes, we'll never see him again.
Never see him again.
Yeah. Court records show that Beverly, who works for a roofing company, has previously been convicted of grand theft, cocaine possession. That would explain
there it is. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that's the thrills and chills part of his personality. Passing a bad check, probably to get the cocaine, and probation violation.
You definitely don't want to stiff your drug dealer with a bad check.
That's right. Following a 2019 motorcycle crash, go figure, Beverly was cited for reckless driving and driving an unregistered vehicle. Beverly was arrested in April for allegedly slapping and strangling an ex-girlfriend, probably a big red mark for that new date.
Yeah. But
prosecutors dropped felony and misdemeanor charges after the victim requested this case not be prosecuted. A court filing revealed. I guess maybe you just walk in real sweetly and go, I think it's all a big misunderstanding.
Can we just chalk this up to my bad?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
You good with that?
Maybe it's just bad behavior.
Whatever happened to buying a woman flowers and taking her to her candlelight dinner? Like, are we that old, Tim?
I think we are, yeah.
Now you need cocaine and high-speed chases, huh?
Yeah, we've aged out, my friend. We've aged out. That's for sure. Legend of the North, disappointment of the South. Are you ready for our next story, my friend?
I definitely am with that.
Do you think you know where I'm going with this one?
I think so.
You think so? I tried to stay away from the story the first time because I figured, maybe the first time it's a fluke. It's a mistake. We all make mistakes, right?
We do.
Not so fast. Sometimes we can forget about pants around the ankle and bad Crocs. Sometimes we can forget an ill-advised loan. Other times, when there's more texts and bad behavior, you just got to go, come on.
Yeah.
Why sully your legend?
Yeah.
There's more text showing more alleged bad behavior from Brett Favre. So we heard about the. Oh, go ahead.
These are not good. These are not good for the Hall of Famer. That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
not good at all.
Not good at all. So he got the volleyball arena built for his daughter, evidently is what it was. Yeah. So his daughter gets the volleyball arena. We're happy for her. Did it on the public dime, whatever. Supposedly paid the money back. Supposedly. Okay.
Yeah.
Then he allegedly tried to get more cash for a football facility.
Yep.
What?
He wants to help everybody out. With their money. Yeah, not his own. No. Like, what better way to help people out than have them spend their own money on stuff they're going to use?
Well, exactly.
Come on.
But not everybody's going to use it. But
No, not everybody.
a select few are going to use it. But, but everybody will get to enjoy it if they come watch a game there.
And if you think about it, you look good, you help build it.
That's right.
With their money.
What was it that Billy Crystal used to say in that character? Was it Fernando? It was supposed to be after Fernando Lamas. It's better to look good than to feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So after Mississippi spent millions of dollars in welfare money on Brett Favre's pet project, a volleyball arena at his alma mater where his daughter was playing, the retired NFL quarterback tried 2 years later. Because why not? If it worked the first time, it's surely going to work again, right?
Exactly. You get away with it. Why not try again?
Yeah.
It's a different sport.
Sure. To get additional cash from the state welfare's agency for another sports facility. This according to new court documents.
Because, he can't afford it.
Well, no, he's not going to take it out of his pocket.
Yeah. But he's already being a good Samaritan by suggesting it.
Well, see, the value here is in his time.
Yeah, exactly.
His time is worth money.
Yeah.
So, you're getting his time.
He won a couple Super Bowls. He kicked the Viking addiction. He beat his wife a couple times. I mean, he's a good guy.
He spent time in a hot tub with Mark Chimura. He's done his time.
My sister went to school with those girls.
That were in the hot tub with Mark Chimura and Brett Favre?
Remember how I told you a story a few episodes ago when we first started recording?
Okay.
That there was an area called Bristlecone Pines, and they had their letters out front, but they were only staked in the ground. So my friends and I went and we changed Pines into something else.
Yes, yeah.
That's where it happened, was in Bristlecone Pines.
Really?
Yeah, and my friend's little brother used to caddy for Chimura and Favre.
Really?
And was their caddy that weekend.
Oh.
And my sister went to school with the girls. My sister was invited to the party, and my parents wouldn't let her go.
Thank God for your parents.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of trouble happening there.
Well, after everything came out, my dad was saying, I did have a bad feeling, but everyone just says I'm a Bears fan. So again, Papa Bruiser with the insight.
Yeah, Papa Bruiser is very wise. I'll give him that. So the governor at the time, Republican Phil Bryant, texted in 2019 with Favre, who wanted to build an indoor practice facility for the University of Southern Mississippi football team, which isn't even that good.
No.
Why
do they need an indoor facility in Mississippi?
It's not even like it's LSU.
Right.
Like that would make it any better. Well, if it was LSU.
We could forgive D1.
Yeah, we could forgive D1, but it's USM. I mean, come on. Bryant told him federal money for children and low-income adults is tightly controlled and improper use could result in violation of federal law. Text messages between Bryant and Favre are in court documents filed Friday by Bryant's lawyers, which seek to show the governor was willing to help Favre raise private money for the volleyball facility starting in 2017 and was unaware for more than 2 years that welfare money was going to the project.
Oh,
yikes.
How do you not know where your funds are going there, Governor? Come on.
As part of its largest ever public corruption case, yes, you heard it right, Mississippi has filed a civil lawsuit against Favre and others to recover the more than $20 million in misspent welfare money intended to help needy people in one of the country's poorest states.
So it looks like Favre's playing another season, huh?
Yep. Guess what, Kirk Cousins? You're out. Favre's back in. He's only what? What is he, 55 now?
He's got to be in his 50s, yeah.
We'll take him. It doesn't matter. The Vikings are desperate. Bryant and Favre are not facing criminal charges, by the way, and Bryant is not among those named in the state civil lawsuit.
How are they not facing criminal charges? They're taking money illegally, weren't they?
Yeah, but they've got $20 million to pay off bribes. So that's how they get away.
Okay. Yep, you're right. Yeah. You win.
See, I win. That's a joke, folks. I'm not being serious about that at all. Or am I? No, I'm kidding. He made his court filing in response to a subpoena sent to him in late July by attorneys for a nonprofit organization that is being sued, which is run by Nancy New and her son, both of whom pleaded guilty to criminal charges in April. A former director of the Mississippi Department of Human Services, John Davis, pleaded guilty on Thursday. He was appointed by Bryant in February of 2016 and fired by him in July of 2019. How's that for hypocrisy? The News and Davis have all agreed to testify against each other. So they're all tattling on each other.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Favre's request for money from the Mississippi Department of Human Services to fund the football facility went nowhere, by the way, in case you were wondering. Favre made the request July 28th of 2019 as he was unsuccessfully trying to recruit the son of another retired NFL player, Deion Sanders, to the university in Hattiesburg. Favre played football at the University of Southern Mississippi before going to the NFL in 1991. Bryant and New are also alumni. And Favre wrote to Bryant that having an indoor practice facility would give the football program instant credibility. Favre's daughter started playing football or playing volleyball. She should start playing football for that $20 million. Yeah. Started playing volleyball at the university in 2017, and early text messages about the volleyball facility focused on private donations and corporate sponsorships. Bryant's attorneys said in the court filing it wasn't until 2019 that things got sticky. Well, I would say they got sticky.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, when you get that high, you got to look where every penny comes from.
Yeah.
And what is going on in Mississippi? Isn't that where the DiBiase's got in trouble with some welfare money too?
Yes, the DiBiase's got in trouble with welfare money, but it wasn't that much. I think it was like, what, $2 million, $3 million, something like that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was only $2 or $3 million as opposed to the...
but it was Mississippi too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Mississippi.
What is Mississippi doing with this welfare? Give it to the people.
Yeah, right. Give it to the people who need it. But alas, it's all for the university, I guess. But no, the $2 or $3 million that was given to, I think it was given to Ted DiBiase Jr., wasn't it?
No, it's his, or was his younger brother. It was the younger brother.
It was the younger brother. Okay.
Yeah, but DiBiase Jr.'s production company and DiBiase Sr.'s church was involved in some way too.
Okay. Yeah. So
it was Brent. I mean, his name is Brent DiBiase.
Yeah.
And I think he went to jail for it.
Yeah.
No, he's not. Nope, Mrs. Bruiser said no, he did not. He had. Teddy's in trouble. They're all in trouble right now.
They're all in trouble right now. They all got a taste somehow, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're all in trouble right now. Brett Favre's in trouble. Yep. Mississippi, get your shit together.
Get your shit together. That's right. Get your shit together. We'll move on. We'll go to Kansas, where no one's getting anything illegal except for an autopsy.
Oh, you can do well, I guess you could do an illegal autopsy.
Yes, you can perform them, and
murder.
there's one Kansas man who's doing it.
Is it? That would be murder, wouldn't it? If you kill somebody and do an autopsy.
Performing it. Well, you can be dead and have somebody perform an illegal autopsy on a dead person. That's, I think, what's going on here. I hope.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I'm so confused right now. Like, isn't that murder?
Well, if they're alive and you're doing it, yes, that's murder.
Isn't it desecrating a corpse then if they're not alive?
Yes. Yeah. Let's read the story and find out, shall we?
Let's read the story.
Yeah.
Yes.
A 42-year-old Kansas man who admitted providing illegal private autopsy services has been sentenced to nearly 6 years in prison. A Kansas man who admitted running an illegal autopsy scheme, boy, that's some scheme, has been sentenced to nearly 6 years in prison for wire fraud. 42-year-old Sean Parcells, who lives in Topeka and Leawood, was sentenced Monday in federal court to one count of wire fraud, the U.S. Attorney's Office said. He pleaded guilty in May. As part of the plea deal, 9 other fraud counts were dropped. Parcells is a self-taught pathology assistant with no formal education. As owner of the National Autopsy Services, persuaded a client to pay $5,000 for an autopsy, according to court records. The client received an emailed autopsy report that appeared to be authored by Parcells. No pathologist was involved in the examination or report, which is illegal. Oh, I see what they did here.
Yeah.
I just made up a report. Parcells gained national...
He had one of those 3 o'clock in the morning, like, commercials. Is your mortician charging you too much for your autopsy report? Come to me. Save 20%.
Come to me. Why did you do it in the Howard Finkel voice?
I have no idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you had an illegal autopsy? Parcells gained national attention in 2014 when he assisted a privately hired pathologist in an autopsy of Michael Brown, the unarmed black 18-year-old from Ferguson, Missouri. I should be unarmed black man, just not unarmed black. That seems so cold. Unarmed black man, 18-year, we'll just say unarmed black 18-year-old man from Ferguson, Missouri, who was fatally...
Author had no idea what they were writing, did they?
I guess not. Who was fatally shot by a white police officer. The autopsy was commissioned by Brown's family, and no allegations of wrongdoing were raised in relation to it. But Parcells' frequent media appearances led to scrutiny, including a CNN story revealing he had no specific certification or training. Between 2016 and 2019, Parcells made more than $1.1 million in Kansas from more than 350 clients for autopsies, most of which he did not perform. That according to court records.
Again, he's that guy at 3 o'clock in the morning selling autopsy.
Voiced by Howard Finkel.
Exactly.
Do you need an autopsy?
Do you not trust your mortician? Is your mortician charging too much? Are the police baffled by how you died? Come to me.
That's a very good Howard Finkel, by the way.
This autopsy must continue.
Must continue. Parcells, who ran 3 companies, was also charged in 2019 by Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt with conducting illegal autopsies. In August, Parcells was banned from doing business in Kansas and ordered to pay more than $700,000 in restitution and fines for the state cases. He was also ordered to pay over $250,000 in restitution to 82 people that used his services. That came after he was convicted in November of 3 felonies and 3 misdemeanors related to providing illegal autopsies in Wabansie County. Prosecutors discovered that Parcells collected more than 1,600 biological samples, mostly human tissue. As part of the scheme, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment took custody of the samples, and victims have until October 6th to claim them. So, in other words, he's holding body parts.
Yep. Oh.
What did he do with them?
Well, he sold them to cannibals. He put them on Grindr
as appetizers. I have many appetizer plates waiting for you.
That dude is sick. Like that. He sat down at his kitchen table one night and thought, how can I make money? Oh, I could say I'm a pathologist and charge for autopsies and not do them and have somebody else do them. And then they'll send me all these body parts and I'll just keep them.
I'll just keep them.
And I'll put them on Grindr and hopefully some guy sees them.
And I'll put them on Grindr. You. That's all I got to say about that. Was that a clear enough noise for you if I didn't make it already? The next story is a bit of an audio daily double if I can get this here to play.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. There's just such a thing as weird noises when you're on an airplane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you've heard them from the engine. Like I did.
The engine and the 80-year-old woman sitting next to me.
There you go. Okay. Yes, and the 80-year-old woman sitting next to you. This story is unusual in that these bizarre noises have taken over an American Airlines flight intercom.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And you may say, well, Tim, what does a bizarre noise have to do with anything? It has to do with the fact that it took over the intercom system, and there's no way to take over an intercom system on a flight. There's no external way to take over one.
Right. You have to have the handheld set either in the front of the plane or at the back of the plane by the flight attendant station.
Right. Now, passengers on board a Dallas-bound American Airlines flight earlier this month reported hearing bizarre noises from the plane's PA system, which one traveler described as somewhere between an orgasm and vomiting.
Or both.
Or both. Emerson Collins, a film producer and nonprofit director, posted video of himself on Twitter reacting to the strange sounds that permeated the cabin on the flight from Los Angeles to Dallas on September 6th. Someone on this flight seems to have broken into the intercom system and continues to make a sound that is somewhere between orgasm and vomiting, the bemused passenger says in the now viral clip. A flight attendant is then heard addressing the passengers about the otherworldly sounds. Ladies and gentlemen, we realize there is an extremely irritating sound coming over the public announcement, she says calmly. The flight deck is trying to troubleshoot, trying to turn it off. So please be patient with us. Yes, we know it's an odd anomaly, and none of us are enjoying it. The crew member adds.
Please put down the headset while you do that.
One of the pilots then chimed in and said, we're trying to mitigate that. Meanwhile, Collins continues to share the relentless sounds. It was either someone's unfortunate food poisoning in the bathroom or like someone with an uncomfortable approach to personal satisfaction, Collins told the LA Times. Let's see if we can tune in now to the actual sound of what this is and see if we can
flight seems to have broken into the intercom system and continues to make a sound that is somewhere between an orgasm and vomiting.
Ladies and gentlemen, we realize there is an extremely irritating sound coming over the public announcements. The flight deck is trying to troubleshoot, trying to turn it off, so please be patient with us. We know this is a very odd anomaly and none of us are enjoying it, so we do appreciate your attention just for a few more moments so we figure out how to turn it off. Thank you.
Who is having a puke yank?
A puke yank.
Come on.
So at one point, the guy looks over to the guy on his left, it kind of like, what the? And the guy holds up his hands and goes, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But you heard the sound.
It sounded like a puke yank.
Like a puke yank. That's the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah. They ever figure out what it was?
No. Well, here it goes on to describing the story. There's a picture of the guy, too. It's just classic. The guy across the aisle from him. The sounds, which began shortly before takeoff and continued in flight, did not come from the crew. Flight attendants assured the passengers. I swear it's a prank, a flight attendant is heard telling Collins, who decided to investigate the matter by walking down the aisle in search of possible pranksters. No one looked suspicious, he told the newspaper. His video has been viewed more than 1.2 million times since he posted it on Thursday. A technology executive from Manhattan Beach who stumbled across the video said he had the same bizarre experience during his American Airlines flight from New York's JFK Airport to LAX in July.
Really?
So it's happened more than once.
Somebody's had good fun on American Airlines.
I guess. Bradley Allen told the LA Times that it sounded like someone had gone on the PA system while incapacitated by a severe gastrointestinal problem and is just moaning. On his flight, Allen said the crew also sought to reassure startled passengers. With all the cultural allusions to things like gremlins on the wings of the plane or snakes on a plane or whatever, we're all kind of primed for crazy, disturbing things to happen on aircraft like that. And it just sort of fit the bill, he told the paper. A lot of things go on in life that are inexplicable and happen, and you just kind of have to file it away and ponder it every now and then, but not necessarily be sure you're ever going to get a resolution, Allen added. Another American Airlines flight from John Wayne Airport in Orange County to Dallas was interrupted by similar sounds on September 18th, according to the LA Times. Airline spokeswoman Sarah Jantz said the company has investigated the incident on the recent flight and chalked it up to mechanical issues, which is the weirdest thing.
They label anything they can't describe as mechanical issues.
Right. Our maintenance team thoroughly inspected the aircraft and the PA system and determined the sounds were caused by a mechanical issue with the PA amplifier, which raises the volume of the PA system when the engines are running, Jantz said to the outlet. She added that the intercom system has no external access and Wi-Fi connectivity, which means that you just can't access it from the outside.
Yeah.
To make that noise.
That definitely didn't sound like something mechanical.
No. Bizarre. Just bizarre indeed. Bizarre indeed.
Haunted plane.
Haunted plane. So to speak. All right, kids, get out your voice notes. Get out your regular notes in your phone or get an old-fashioned pen and paper. It's time now for Lil Wayne's cooking segment for Scissor Up Chizikin.
What's Little Wayne got for us? What's that little guy got?
Yeah.
That's Little John.
That's Little John, I know. But I'm just saying you got to get ready for this because the FDA perhaps superfluously warned teens not to cook chicken in NyQuil.
Oh, this new TikTok trend that's going around?
Yeah. If you eat this chicken, you're going to be consuming a huge amount of cough syrup.
Yeah.
I think that's the point.
We're telling a generation that was eating Tide Pods not to do this.
Yeah.
How about they don't do everything they see online? You know?
I think there's been a breakdown of how to raise children.
How do we get a trend of like going to college, getting a job, being a productive member of society?
You got to make it look cool online, man.
Yeah.
So while you get Lil Wayne to sip on that scissor, he goes and hands in a job application. I think that's how it's done, man.
Yeah.
Although I do think I could make a hell of a NyQuil chicken if you set me to it.
Is it called a roofie chicken?
No. We're not trying to kill anybody here. Not trying to kill anybody, brother. We're just trying to get them nice and high. Scissor chicken is basically, or scissor chizikin, is basically just taking that there scissor and marinating it, marinating the meat in it.
Yeah. And then cooking it.
Yeah. But you don't want to cook it too much.
Because then you get rid of the
Yeah, you don't want to cook out the alcohol.
The fact that gets you high, yeah.
Right. So what you want to do is you want to barbecue that chicken. You want to do that 20, 30 minutes at 350 thing. You want to get that chicken nice and cooked. Then you want to splash that sizzurp on it.
Yeah, because you don't want raw chicken. Then you get salmonella.
Yeah, you don't want that salmonella. You don't want that, right?
Man, your street cred is going way up.
I'm telling you, man. I'm from the streets. I don't know if you know that. It's just from the streets of some podunk town. That's all. So here's the deal. The FDA is warning teenagers against trying NyQuil chicken. This involves marinating chicken in the over-the-counter cold medicine, cooking it, and eating it.
It cannot taste good.
Who says? I don't know if you've ever tried cherry NyQuil.
I love cherry NyQuil.
Oh, that's the biz on, boy. So you take that. Can you imagine cherry chicken? That'd be pretty good.
Cherry chicken, yeah, you could take cherry Coke and soak the chicken in that and make it. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Whether anyone has ever done this is unclear, but users on TikTok have been sharing and mocking a chicken recipe that calls for you to cook the meat in NyQuil. The resulting dish is known as sleepy chicken. Sleepy chicken. Mm-hmm. Although it's already difficult to find content related to the recipe, notably, many of the recipe videos that other users are responding to have been deleted. Typing NyQuil into the search bar in TikTok brings up several search items related to the recipe, like NyQuil chick or NyQuil chicken or chicken. Is that how it's spelled? Something like that. Some of the videos make fun of the recipe, also already have a flag from TikTok on them that reads, participating in this activity could result in you or others getting hurt.
Which you should already know because of common sense.
Yeah, of course. In a press release, the FDA warns home cooks of something that TikTok users, as well as all people who would be competent to procure chicken and NyQuil, seem to already be aware of. If you eat the chicken, you're going to be consuming a huge amount of cough syrup. The challenge.
So we won't be seeing this on MasterChef anytime soon.
No. Or Barbecue Masters, which I would love to see an episode of Pit Masters where the ingredients are illegal street drugs. I think would be amazing.
Your dry rub is nothing but crack and meth.
Yeah. Or you're doing a whole turkey, but instead of injecting like butter or whatever it is you're injecting into the turkey, it turns out to be just hemp oil. The challenge sounds silly and unappetizing, and it is, they wrote, but it could also be very unsafe. Boiling a medication can make it much more concentrated and change its properties in other ways. Even if you don't eat the chicken, inhaling the medication's vapors while cooking could cause high levels of the drug to enter your body. It could also hurt your lungs. Put simply, someone could take a dangerously high amount of the cough and cold medicine without even realizing it. There we go. Right now, there doesn't appear to be much evidence of people trying this chicken recipe on TikTok. Because
thank God.
Everybody knows it's a joke. What you see a lot more of is more people marveling that anyone has ever made this recipe and survived. To be absolutely clear, though, cooking chicken or any fowl using any sort of cough medicine is a bad idea. If you want to have a cheap drug experience, there are better ways, like simply drinking the NyQuil that you bought to make terrible chicken. True, yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, when you scroll down on this article, it gives you really bad recipes to make. The bean and cheese pupusa recipe, the fried bone-in pork chop sandwich recipes, smack ramen chicken Alfredo recipe, the let me eat the TikTok pink sauce. The hell is that?
That lady made that sauce on TikTok. It's called pink sauce.
What is pink sauce?
It's supposed to be some sort of thing. It was a trend for a while, but I guess she got in trouble because when she'd ship it to you, it would coagulate or something would happen where when you got it, either the bottles would be broken. I think she's getting sued right now.
Oh, good. Well,
yeah.
It's a good reason to make it. So, yeah. So, look up one bad recipe, get a bunch more. And finally today on Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals, we have a fugitive on the loose, or do we?
Okay.
Do we? It turns out that sometimes when animals go bad, they change their mind and go good.
Oh, they have a change of heart.
Change of heart.
They have a conscience.
They do. Sometimes stupid criminals decide they're not so stupid after all, and they go off the lam and come back in.
Yeah.
They come in off them streets, Bruiser, if you know what I mean.
Isn't it true you can't change the spots of a jaguar? Or a jaguar can't change its spots? A tiger can't change its stripes.
You can change the fur on a seal? I don't know. The skin on a seal?
That's illegal.
Well, you definitely can't beat it off of them. I know that much. A fugitive seal turns himself into cops. It's true. It's happened.
What a nice seal.
What a nice seal.
Now, we're talking about the animal, not the rapper, right? Or the singer?
Yes. We're not talking about the singer.
Kiss from a rose on the grave.
I will pay you $100 not to do that again. We go to Beverly, Massachusetts, where Schubert, the seal, eluded capture. That's right. His name is Schubert.
That's a great name for a seal.
It is.
This needs to be a children's book.
And his name is spelled Schubert, Shoebert, Schubert.
This is totally a kid's book.
It
where
is.
He does something wrong, and at the end, the moral of the story is if you do something wrong, turn yourself in.
Yeah. Schubert the seal busted a cap in that ass and then had a change of heart and said, you know what? I'm going to go straight.
He shot somebody?
Yeah. He wasn't fooling around. He got his little flipper in that little trigger, and he was like, fool, I'm going to take you down.
Did he turn it sideways too, all gangsta-like?
Yeah, he did, but he hit himself in the nose. Hit himself right in the snout. Because Schubert doesn't know how to shoot a gun.
No, he's a seal.
Yeah, see what I did there? Schubert doesn't know how to shoot a gun, son. He's a seal. He's a third wheel. Deal?
You have gotten so hood at this. This is great.
I have, yeah. I'm going to make a little Schubert the seal
The last two stories.
Spoken word rap.
Yeah. The last two stories are showing your ghetto side, your hood side.
Showing my grit.
Your thug.
Yeah, my thugged out grit.
You're being the cruisers with a Z.
My wild
with
side.
a Z.
Yeah. So Schubert eluded capture, then showed up at a police station in Beverly, Massachusetts. Why did he show up in Beverly, Massachusetts, you might say? Because
he heard they were looking for him.
No, because he knows. He shows up in the hood, they're going to beat him silly.
So he goes to the high class.
That's right.
Yo, I'm Schubert the Seal. You looking for me?
So he went to the Beverly Hilton and checked in there, son. Booyah!
With his hat on backwards, his do-rag on.
That's right. His pants sagging. Because that's what happens when you're a seal. Yeah.
Blasting a kiss from a rose.
God, don't. See, we had this vibe going, and then you're like, kiss from a rose.
What, Seal's not hood? Come on.
Seal's about as hood as I am. Let's face it. It's just the way it is. So a gray seal that wandered into a Massachusetts pond and evaded authorities' attempts to capture him turned himself in after waddling up to the local police station, per the AP.
It was me. I admit it. You got me. This is a children's book, I'm telling you.
Schubert the Seal?
Yeah. And we'll even throw in there the gun and everything. The whole story you just told.
He hides the gun in the bushes. He stashes the burner in one bush. He throws the ammo in another.
Gives his wife a hug and kiss.
He's like, I'm clean, yo.
I'm going straight, baby. You got pregnant? Now I got to go straight.
That's right.
Turn myself in.
I got to do this for my baby seals.
He takes his grill out.
Yeah.
I got to give up this game because this game ain't on me. You know what I mean?
I got to go legit. That baby pup in your stomach, it needs a better life than I live.
This baby pup in your stomach.
That's my son.
I'm going straight. Yo, Popo, it's Schubert.
That's Schubert Jr. in there, son.
Schubert Jr. needs to know his daddy did the right thing, Popo.
That's right. I got to set an example for Schubert Jr.
Give me that community service. Give me that ball. Spin it on my nose.
Community service.
I'll spin that ball on my nose. I'll jump through all them hoops. I got to show Schubert Jr. you can go straight, yo.
Here's the deal. I'm coming out before Schubert Jr. is a full-grown seal.
I'm going to be positive in his life.
I'm going to
turn this around.
I'm gonna grow that pup into a full-grown man.
Simon Cowell, I'm coming to America's Got Talent. Tell you my story.
America's Got Talent.
You want my statement? Here it is. Bark, bark, bark. That's my statement.
That's a Q instead of a K because I'm street.
That's right.
Bark, bark.
Bark, bark.
Bitch.
Biatch.
Bark, bitch.
Biatch.
So the gray seal first appeared. Where am I at in this story? I don't even know. Okay, here we go. So he evaded. Okay, so he wandered into a Massachusetts pond, evaded authorities' attempts to capture him, turned himself in after waddling up to the local police station, per the AP. The gray seal first appeared earlier this month in Shoe Pond in the city of Beverly, northeast of Boston. Oh, so he's got a Boston accent, does he? It's your
He's a bit of the Irish.
It's your seal from Boston. The animal is believed to have traveled to the pond from the sea via a river and drainage pipes.
You got Australian there.
Pipes. The seal quickly became a local attraction and was even named Schubert after his chosen pond.
Schubert.
Firefighters and wildlife experts used boats and giant nets in an effort to capture the wily animal Thursday, but gave up after several fruitless hours. Do you think he was hanging out with New Edition and BBD?
Yeah.
He's from Boston. I mean, they're all from Boston. They're hood like that. They stay together.
Hanging out with the whatchamacallit, the Donnie and
No.
The Wahlbergs?
No,
He's hanging out with the Wahlbergs?
They aren't street enough. I mean, come on.
Mark,
That's like saying, do you think he was hanging out with another bad creation? Like
maybe he was hanging out with the Dropkick Murphys.
Okay, they're tough enough. I'll give them that.
They're punk.
Yeah. Okay. So the firefighters and wildlife expert used boats and giant nets in an effort to capture the wily animal on Thursday. They gave up after several fruitless hours. Early Friday morning, however, Schubert left the pond, crossed a parking lot, stole a 78 Cadillac, and appeared outside.
While blasting Kiss from a Rose.
No. God, why? What's with the pussification of Schubert with you? Why do you need
He's a seal.
Oh, come on. He had more than one song, Seal did,
Okay, name it.
Crazy.
He had Kiss from a Rose.
No, Crazy. The song Crazy. You remember the song Crazy?
I remember. You're not changing my mind. Kiss from the Rose.
Let's get a little crazy.
Oh, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But he is not blasting that. He's blasting Kiss from a Rose. He's a Batman fan.
Oh, God. No. He's on the run. You don't play Kiss from the Rose. That's fucking stupid
when you play
Batman
it, people
song.
stop to sing it. That's why you play it.
Oh, God, no. People don't stop to sing it. They jam their fingers in their ears and kick you in the nuts. That's what they do when they hear that song.
Only you do. Schubert, he's street, yo.
That is not a street song. It's like saying that Marky Mark song was street.
It was.
Good Vibrations?
It was a remake. He did the Wild Side, too.
No, come on. Stop it. Stop it right now. I'm pulling your man card. You know what? I'm letting that guy take pictures of your tannin wiener if you don't stop it.
I'm getting you worked up just like if somebody said Louisville.
Oh, stop it. I don't even know where I am in the story anymore.
See, Schubert's hood, yo.
Schubert is...
He pulled up to the police station.
He left the pond. He crossed the parking lot. He commandeered a 78 Cadillac. He got out his Saturday night special and appeared outside the side door of the local police station looking, according to a police statement, for some help. The seal was quickly corralled by a team of wildlife experts, firefighters, and the police department's entire midnight shift, evidently because none of these Keystone cops could corral him.
No.
Yeah.
They're I picture them like netting each other as the seal's going in and out.
Pretty much. This, according to a Facebook post from the Beverly Police Department, who has nothing better to do with their day.
You know how they got him into the police station? Honestly,
a fish.
It was a long process where they went out. They got a public PA system. We started blasting "A Kiss from a Rose."
Oh God!
And Seal Schubert just heard it. Went, yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh. Probably just a bucket of fish, and they threw him to him until he walked into the goddamn station. That's how it worked.
They actually hired Seal to play Kiss from a Rose live.
And it wouldn't take much to hire Seal either.
No.
It's like
he probably lives in Boston.
$5 on a tuna sandwich would get you Seal for the day. For the entire day. He would follow you around holding you by your pant leg because he's afraid you wouldn't pay him the $5.
He was actually there performing at a child's birthday party. So they just said, hey, can we use your help?
And the kids were like, who are you again? Why does my mom like that stupid song?
No, the kids love it because it's in Batman.
They don't even know that Batman. That Batman happened fucking 30 years ago. They don't even know that Batman.
Why do you hate Kiss from a Rose so much?
It was the worst song to ever appear in a Batman movie ever.
No, I disagree. Listeners, let them know I'm right.
Quick, what's Sonny Kiss's nickname?
I don't know. Why?
It has something to do with a cement rose, doesn't it?
I don't know, but
don't you know what that is? It's a
Ben Boone comes out to Kiss from a Rose.
Who does? Pat Boone?
No, Ben Boone is a professional wrestler, and he comes out to Kiss from a Rose, and it's amazing.
He needs a new song. I'll get him one, free of charge.
I'm gonna make that. If I could figure out how to put ringtones on my phone, that's gonna be your new ringtone. If I can change how we record the Skype here, I'm gonna change that to Kiss from a Rose.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare! That song is a horrible song. It was a horrible song when it came out. It's going to be a horrible song till the day I die. There's a reason why Seal never had another hit after that song.
Because it was so good, he left out on a high note.
No, because it was such trifling fucking garbage.
Hey, he landed Heidi Klum with that song. Come on.
You just rested my case for me. You haven't heard from her either since then.
America's Got Talent, man.
You rested my case yet again. Who watches that show?
I do.
Well, you rested my case another time. America's Got Talent. America doesn't have talent.
Yes, well, yeah, all the acts are coming from different countries, but still.
Yes, exactly. What it is one big Vegas review for people on the street.
Okay, so what happened to Schubert?
The kids on my block running up and down on their bicycles have more talent than the people on that show.
That's why Seal's on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why Seal's on it. Anyways, the Beverly Police Department, after throwing a bucket of chum at Schubert and begging him to come into the office, said Schubert appeared to be in good health and was a little sassy in the early morning hours. The seal was transported to Mystic Aquarium. They probably should have put that seal in there too. In Mystic, Connecticut, where aquarium staff will perform a medical exam. They probably should have gave the singer seal an enema there. Before releasing him back into the wild, which I wish they would do with the real seal. Hopefully a bear would get him. Sarah Callan, manager of the aquarium's animal rescue program, wrote in an email, which Schubert can't read. I don't know why they're giving him emails.
He showed up with a rose in his mouth.
God. He's acting like a typical feisty 4-year-old gray seal, Callan added.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're planning to release him in a quiet, remote location near other seals. In other words, they're going to shoot him in the goddamn head.
No, they're not.
They're not going to take him to a farm. There's no farms for seals.
They're going to take him on tour with Seal.
There's no location that wants to hear Seal.
Yeah, I do. I'd listen to it.
You know, when
you are
Seal,
underestimating the power of Kiss from a Rose, man.
There's no power behind it.
Yes, there is. Our listeners right now are on my side. I'm telling you right now.
He could sit on the goddamn corner and play that song all day long. He wouldn't have 250 in a guitar case by the time the day was done. There's no power behind
like that. My generation loves that song.
Really?
Yeah.
They do, huh?
The wife and I, we sing it all the time.
Really? Let me listen in the background right now. I hear her singing nothing.
She's giving me a thumbs up.
Really?
Yeah.
Mrs. Bruiser, sing me a chorus.
There you go. Look at that.
Yeah, sing me a chorus of it real quick. Tell me, go deep into the song. Show me how much of that song you really know.
That's a great song. Schubert knows.
Go ahead and sing me the entire song right now, Bruiser. How much of it do you really know? Besides, baby, I've been baby, kid from a rose from the grave.
Ooh.
Okay, how much more do you know? How much do you really know?
I'm laughing too hard
How
right
much
now.
do you really know of that song? How much do you really know of that shit song?
I love that song.
Yeah, you love it so much. How much of the words do you know without looking at your phone?
It's a banger.
It's a shit song.
Without looking at your phone.
Without looking at your phone, how much of the lyrics do you know?
Mrs. Bruiser brought me this. Look at that. Look at that. That's how big of fans we are. You read that? What's that say?
That says, I went to the shitty concert and all I got was this fucking T-shirt. What? Really? How much did you pay for that? $5? Was it on clearance at Walmart?
I think she got it for free.
See, you got it for free! You didn't even pay for the goddamn shirt. I rest my case, Your Honor. I rest my case.
Oh, I love getting you fired up.
That's how we end the show today. I rest my case. Can't change my mind. Schubert would have made a better vocalist for that Batman soundtrack.
Schubert is probably going to be a vocalist in the latest tour with Seal. That's what Schubert's doing.
Yeah. Anyways, so and that's how. What was that line from that movie? And that's how society dies. Is this how it? And this is how society dies.
Well, society dies with NyQuil and chicken.
There's a reason why kids. That's why your kids are eating NyQuil chicken. Because they had to listen.
Listening to good music?
No, because they had to sit and listen to Seal over and over again.
My kids like that song. Well,
no, they pretended.
3 of the 4 do.
They pretended to like that song.
When we get done recording, I'm going to call them and ask them. I'm pretty sure they like it.
Secretly, they were dying inside. They were like, "Oh God, I just need some drugs so I can get through this." And NyQuil.
My daughter, my youngest likes it. And you know what? My oldest has got engaged. I'm going to request that she plays that at her wedding just for you.
And she's going to uninvite you?
She can't. I'm her dad.
It doesn't matter. Music over family. You know what would happen if my old man said, I want you to play Seal Kiss from a Rose at your wedding? I'd say you can kiss my ass and you can leave my wedding. I don't need you there that bad. There's other people that can show up at my wedding and pretend they're my dad.
Hell, I could probably get Seal to play her wedding, couldn't I?
Mm-hmm. For a tuna sandwich and $5. I already told you that. Yeah. See? And guess what? He won't even sing Kiss from a Rose. He'll probably sing I Don't Want Her, You Can Have Her, She's Too Fat for Me. He'll sing whatever the fuck you want him to sing because it's $5 and a tuna sandwich. Yeah. Yeah. He'll sing whatever beer barrel polka you want him to sing.
The fired up cruiser is the best.
Ah, look at that. He'll sing whatever you want. He'll pull the lyrics up off of the internet and he'll just sing his happy ass off.
Now remember, listeners, next time you see Tim in person, he'll sign any seal photographs you have.
Yeah, he will. Signed a talentless hack seal. That's how I'll sign it. I think the test of time is already ruled on this deal. Yeah. You know who you're never going to see in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Seal. There you go. I've already ruled on that deal.
He's in my Hall of Fame.
Well, that's nice.
Who would have thought when you pulled this article today?
I thought I was just going to get through Schubert and we were going to smile and laugh and we were going to...
Well, I'm laughing. And I'm having a good time right now.
I was going to end this article with, and then Schubert killed the entire Beverly Police Department in a hail of bullets, and that was it. That was going to be the end of the article, but no.
Now he's on tour with Seal.
No, he's not on tour with Seal. He's too dignified for that.
He's too hood.
He's too hood for that. And then he joined in, and then he got a record deal with Dr. Dre, is how he's going to end it. But I don't know. I don't have answers anymore.
What do we got coming up tomorrow, Tim?
Supernatural news, hopefully seal free. I'm going to call it the seal free edition. Hope it stays that way. Tomorrow on the show, Darkness Radio. Yeah, supernatural news. Parashare. By the way, folks, if you have stories for Parashare, you can send them tim@darknessradio.com. Also, we have a new way to give us your Parashare stories. If you go to darknessradioshow.com, you click on that little blue tab on the side. It's always on the right side because that's the mirror you want to be looking at. I don't know what that means for anything in the price of tea in China. I'm all worked up over the seal thing now. But you click on that tab on the right-hand side. You can leave a voice note up to 2 minutes. If you need to leave more than 1 2-minute voice note, you can leave multiple notes. I'll string them together and we'll have your story that way. Please leave us either a voice note or leave us your story by email, tim@darknessradio.com, and we'll air it right here on the show. And we'll weigh in on it, let you know what we think of your story. And it will be favorable. It won't be a Schubert Seal incident, I promise you. It will be a favorable airing of your story. So tomorrow is Supernatural News and Parashare. Still working on Thursday for you. I told you we'd have a surprise for you last Thursday, and boy, oh boy, did we ever. Nathaniel Gillis was on the show, and I had a couple people write me and tell me that they couldn't finish the show on the first listen.
Too scary, huh?
Yeah, they were too creeped out. So they had to put it down, walk away for a little bit, and then come back to it because it was that creepy. So
that's the best thing about podcasts. You can do that.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys for weighing in on last week, and Nathaniel Gillis. We'll have Nathaniel join us again sometime soon, and we'll go over some more stuff with him. He's got some interesting theories out there, and we'll talk about some more of those interesting theories with him here in a future show. So we'll have another surprise for you coming up on Thursday. Yep. But that'll do it for today. That's it for Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals. Bruiser, tell them where you're going to be.
I am in Gastonia, North Carolina on Saturday, wrestling at a baseball park. I'm very excited. Mrs. Bruiser and I went there last week to check out a game. It is an amazing stadium to watch a baseball game, and not a bad seat in the house. It's the Gastonia Honey Hunters. Never heard of them before. Went. We had a good time. There's a wrestling show now going on. It's on Saturday, October 1st at the stadium. So if you're in the North Carolina area, I encourage you to come out and watch and check this. This is just a beautiful stadium. I can't say how great this stadium was. Like we're in fact, because it's only 20 minutes from the house, we are going to look into season tickets.
Nice.
They've won us over. The team was good. Some former Brewers, former Twins, former Yankees play for them. Former Savannah Bananas, if you guys are familiar with them.
Nice.
That's on the 1st.
Very cool.
I will be there.
Very cool. Very cool. And if you're ever confused as to where you can see Bruiser, we also have a page, an event page at darknessradioshow.com. We try to update it as much as we can, so we'll update that and let you know where Bruiser's going to be in the future here. And so you can check out darknessradioshow.com, the events tab, and follow us there. We'll let you know where I am, where Bruiser is, where any of us are around the country from week to week. So there you go. That'll do it for today. Join us again tomorrow for Supernatural News and Parish Air. For Beer City Bruiser, I'm Tim Dennis. We'll see you tomorrow right here on the Best in Paranormal Podcasting Darkness Radio. And thank you for joining us today for the Best in True Crime Podcasting. This has been True Crime Tuesday.